7 o'clock in St. Louis, you are listening to The Morning After, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMASTL YouTube channel. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. Little Jackie Papers is on the ones and twos. He goes by Jackson Burkett, and he is in the process of a rebrand from Action Jackson to Little Jackie Papers. Is it Little Jackie Papers or Little Jackie Papers? Do you know L-I-L?
Lil.
Both are acceptable. I guess if you stylized as Lil, but Little works.
And now
fine.
with this era we live in, you'll just be, and that's LJP with your update.
Yeah, a lot of initials. It's like often the...
That's the thing.
It's like only the nickname.
Chairman Kurt is on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. 314-974-0101. That's how you can call in. Fridays, historically on the show, Doug, have been phone calls and nothing but phone calls. Joey Vitale will be with us in the Fisher Window and Door Store 8 o'clock hour, and we'll have the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Now you've been briefed on this Stiefel dossier. 314-974-0101. That's how you can call into the program. Save the text number, and then you're just texting in, and you're a friend of the feather is what you are. 314-399-9646. 314-399-9646. Jack B's Hamptons homie. Average size Shabangas. Painter Guy, Illini Greg in Green Bay. Right when the music started, they fired texts, and here comes Marsha's burner. You get your name saved in there by Jackson Burkett, DBA, Lil Jackie Papers, and now you've got a pipeline to communicate with this program.
All right. But it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We got a 4-hour show.
Amen.
You really want to pace yourself. Don't fire a huge, great take early. Save it.
Because it might get missed. Then you got the YouTube chat, which is brought to you by Michelob Ultra, and the chatters are ranked by YouTube. We don't know it's kind of like the College Football Playoff Committee. We don't really know the guidelines of how they're ranked, but I see that John Scores is ranked number 1. And Corey is ranked number 3, and he writes, and I'd rank him number 1 after reading this. Tim, I wish I had a son so I could name him Tim. Oh. Anyway, happy Friday, Martin. That's from Corey.
That's
number
how
3.
It starts. Okay. The gong is going through some difficult times.
The gong is finishing off a bad round on the 18th hole.
May have to find a new one this weekend.
Is it Tommy Fleetwood on Sunday, Tim? Is that what the gong is?
Yeah, folding up shop. Tommy Fleet is in the mix.
Saw that.
Brian Harmon, who Jackson and I call the Happy Little Hunter, is your leader at the Open. He is on the 13th hole. He leads Tyrrell Hatton, who is certainly not the Happy Little Hunter. He's as banty as it gets out there. He is one stroke back, as is Harris English, who has been playing really well, but he is somebody most people have no idea who he is if you are a casual fan. Brian Harmon, your leader at the Open. Hello, friends.
Well, hello. This is the British Open you're talking about, right?
It's the Open.
If you just say the Open, I don't know if you're talking the U.S. Open. Are we talking tennis, the U.S. Open tennis? The British Open.
Oh, no.
It was this way for years, 100 years probably, or more.
Maybe it goes back to old Tom Morris.
It very well could.
Maybe it was always the Open, Doug, and then it just kind of became popular vernacular to call it the British Open, and now they want to fix it. Go back and fix it.
Well, it's too late to fix it.
Okay.
They say he's even popular in Europe.
Okay.
Is that a Jiminy Glick drop?
I can't get enough of Jiminy Glick. You know, some of the kids, they do the white. For me, if I'm ever down and I need to pick me up, I just go into the YouTube of Jiminy Glick. Primetime Glick, Doug. It'll lift your spirits.
It's not on anymore, is it?
Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. No, it is not on.
There's a drop that Martin Short is the guest on the Today Show. This would be, what's your grandma think? Worthy? He's on the Today Show. You know what I'm talking about?
Is that Kathy Lee got him?
I think it was Kathy Lee Giffen said, "You've had such a great career and so many laughs." He's like, "Yeah, and your wife and you have been just such a key part. What makes that marriage so strong?" Yeah, she's really been instrumental. She'd been passed for a couple of years. And the thing is, you could get that wrong, but to make it the focus of the point, you better be sure. And we'll have a chance. We got a long show, Doug. We'll get that audio for you.
All right.
And he and Nancy have got one of the greatest marriages of anybody in show business. How many years now for you guys?
We married 36 years. Yeah.
But you're still like in love.
Madly in love. Madly in love.
Why?
Cute. I'm cute.
Yes, that is true.
And you make each other laugh.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Speaking of making each other laugh, you have a little something in that bag.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
this is.
How about the way that he handled it?
That was after she had died? a few
Yes.
years?
Yes.
What is the headline? How did you find that so quickly? LPJ?
PJ, yeah. LJP.
LJP.
Kathy Lee asked Martin Short how his deceased wife is doing.
That's what
That's
it popped
the-
up
that's
as,
the
right?
title of
But
the
she
YouTube
didn't
video.
think.
Which,
Yeah.
of course,
The
is
woman
not
was
what
deceased.
happened. But it is,
Fair enough. It
maybe
got
the
it
ultimate
got us there.
professionalism that he
Yeah.
Right.
handled it that way as opposed to dressing her down.
In that clip, Martin Short looks like he's about 40 years old himself. He says he's been married 36 years, or was married.
He's a very
36.
youthful-looking fella.
Boy, really?
That was from 2012.
12.
Doug Martin Short, now 75 years old. So
Still
there's
very
some
active.
algebra.
Yeah.
He was 63, 62 in that clip.
I saw he and Steve Martin at the Fox Theater a few years ago. They're very funny. Very funny.
I feel like they talk all day. Like they're always together, always associated.
Doing commercials now?
They do a TV show together.
What show is that?
Only Murders in the Building.
Do you watch that program?
No, my parents love it.
Is
That
it
kind of put it in a box.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
I'd
I
say-
can't review. I don't know anything about it. But
So you haven't tried it.
No, but my I can speak for. And I mean, it's Martin Short and Steve Martin. Pretty good 1-2 punch right there.
Love them both. That show, we tried it. It was a little cheeky.
It's a little cheeky.
I think your parents would like it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good way to just politely dismiss it.
That's not good.
Tim, I think your parents would like it.
Yeah, I noticed that. How about this, though? For getting the audio up so quickly, I believe you are getting a compliment from Sharon and Clayton. Damn, Piddles. Very impressive. Well done. Happy Friday, y'all. That's Sharon and Clayton.
It's going to be a big day for L. I can't remember this. L.
Isn't
Little
YouTube
J
a
papers,
fabulous,
LJP.
fabulous thing?
That's just, you know.
YouTube is just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
If you can think of anything, it's right there.
Pretty much.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And that's because you're so supportive of the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat.
Yes. Well, I was supportive of YouTube before I was supportive of the chat. You chat away in there if you'd like.
Chairman Kurt is leading the discussion right now. He is looking for the age, sex, and location, and what everybody is wearing in there. That's what's going on, Doug. If you want to go in, youtube.com/TMASTL.
Well,
So when there aren't any
fine.
phone calls in the Collier and Thompson phone lines, Chairman Kurt interacts with the audience in the YouTube chat and gets the age, sex, location, and what they're wearing, and
Okay.
and that spurns what we call engagement.
and what are they wearing? What's the common theme there, common thread?
Unfortunately, my attempts to kind of get the conversation going has not really taken off yet.
No one's responding.
John Scores is talking about how he loves Tyrrell Hatton, and somebody's talking about Doug's broken gong. The Hoygaard twins are having a week.
Okay.
Kurt, was it dismissed, do you think, because it was creepy?
No, I've made some friends in there. I think they like my creepy side.
Really?
I made some friends in there.
The happy little Hunter has dropped to 7 under par, and he now has a 2-stroke lead at the Open. And you say, boy, it's surprising to see the happy little Hunter. Well, Doug, as you know, in 2023, he won the Open, and he has done it before, and perhaps the link style of golf is advantageous to the happy little Hunter.
Well, it might be. I'm more interested in Chairman Kurt turning the YouTube chat into a dating site.
What's wrong with that, bro?
You're not having any luck, though?
I don't think the ladies are awake yet. They usually show up in the 8 o'clock hour in there.
I'm in the news, sweetheart.
Yeah, how about that? There's Charlie Marlowe AI.
Is that what you say to women in bars or parties that he met? To try to
Based on this
impress them?
show, I feel like he was talking to one of the fellas on the dais called You Guys Sweetheart. But it would be funnier if he was at a bar in his single days meeting someone.
I'm a solid St. Louis 9.
You think Charlie's a solid St. Louis 9?
He thought he was.
I believe recently he said he still was.
Really? Good for him.
Or close
like
to it.
42, 3 now? Is that right?
43?
Yeah. Tip of the cap. Solid
Louis
St. Louis 9.
9. I'm going to text him. Are
Yeah,
you still
I
at
guess. See
St.
if we
Louis
can
9?
Now, where would that be as opposed to like where the beautiful people are? Where would that be?
Oh, what's that
Miami
supposed to
or
mean?
Southern California. If you're a St. Louis 9, you're probably not a 9 in some other areas.
Wow.
And Nicki Minaj mixed fusion Moscato.
How about that? Okay, you feel so we're doing kind of like cost of living. So if you're going to live in Manhattan, if you're making, I guess we're all here making, if I'm not mistaken, I read in Dan Caesar's column what Martin's making, $3 million per year. You got to be making $9 million per year to live in Manhattan. So the 3X. So if you're a solid St. Louis 9, I think that makes you
The 3 in New York?
Miami 6.
Okay.
I feel like that's about right.
All right.
Is the male
Feel good about
female?
that? Jackson's nodding.
Is the male female chart the same ratio?
So there's the big model influence in New York. That's what makes it tough. Really makes the ceiling rise there.
But that's only a handful of people in a town of, what, 8, 9 million people?
Yeah. I think Tim's numbers, I think his scale is pretty accurate.
Clip that off.
I would have thought that a lot of beautiful people would be around Miami. It was no different. It was no different. Now, maybe on South Beach, you get a handful of models prancing around. But for the rest of the town, zero difference from anywhere else I've ever been.
You run into a convenience store in Miami, you don't say, wow, these people are
No, you
beautiful
don't.
in here.
Nope.
What about at Red Lobster? Were they beautiful people?
A little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit different there.
Finna be rich. Somebody in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat says Tim's basically a 9.7 in any metropolitan area. And then I look and I see it's actually Chairman Kurt from about 15 feet away,
Oh,
Doug.
stop. It's coming from the room. Oh.
I just deducted 0.3 just so I didn't.
Yeah, so you didn't come off as.
Okay.
I get that. I respect it. I don't take offense to it. I think it's the right strategy. You can also get involved on this program, calling in, texting in, emailing in. Design Air, sponsor of the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, which comes your way at approximately 10:45 on the program. And here we are on July 18th, and we have ourselves a three-way tie with Dalton, Shooter McGavin, and Paul Harvey, Milk Mustache. You can compete with the greats. They only have 2 wins, so you can still catch them the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Design Air, sponsor of our email of the day. The longest-running client on TMA as well. Doug's a client, Martin's a client, I'm a client, and Doug's sweet mother of mercy. It's going to be hotter than a fire's of hell out there over the next week.
Boy, it is.
I am telling you. Now, today, we only get to 87 degrees, some precipitation in the forecast, but 94 on Sunday, 95, 96, 96 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That air conditioning goes out. Make sure you get it tended to with Design Air Heating and Cooling. All you need to do is go to designairservice.com to work with Seth Goldcamp and his staff. No upselling. They just take care of it. Sponsors. TMA and the email of the day, and the longest running ones as well, as the program is a week and a day away from its 21st birthday. Seth Goldcamp has been with us for more than half this show's run. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Lots here from Little Jackie Papers in the Stiefel dossier. I think that, I know listeners, Doug, they cycle on, they cycle off,
Well, they
have
do,
their
yeah.
commutes. And then also at the same time, we're very grateful for the people who are able to watch/listen to all 4 hours. But Joe Buck was with us yesterday, and we didn't get this conversation until about to this point in our conversation with him, which was about, I think all in, probably like 40 minutes. His opinion on both the Cardinals and what he thinks they should do, and also John Kelly. But he was real blunt, and we will have that audio for you on the other side of the break. This is TMA. It's 101 ESPN show is presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on the TMASTL YouTube channel. Cardinals and Diamondbacks, Dub?
Well, I'm ready to get baseball going again. That's a long 3 or 4 days there with no baseball.
Doesn't it remind you, even if they're mediocre, you're kind of missing it?
Oh, yeah.
You kind
definitely
of
do.
need it just in the summer. This show doesn't, because we can talk about whether Charlie's a 9 or not, but some shows need it. This town needs it.
I feel better for the other radio shows.
Yeah, it's a great dossier. Good job. Stiefel dossier,
Not bad.
Jax. I enjoy.
Hi, LJP.
I always scan the papers. I like to scan it and just kind of see what's in there. I feel there's a lot of meat on the bone.
Thrill fan with regard to the Joe Buck audio we're about to play, and there is a social media clip of it on the TMASTL Twitter and Instagram feeds. He says, I only saw the Buck short clip on YouTube, but he seems extremely annoyed that the Cardinals are disrespecting fans' intelligence. He is a legend and can convey our message to ownership. That's from Thrill Fan 22. Joe Buck was with us yesterday, and we talked about a couple of topics that I know are at the front of St. Louis area sports fans' minds, those being the Cardinals and the trade deadline, which is coming up here in 2 weeks, and John Kelly. Here is Joe Buck on the Cardinals and the deadline.
Well, hit the lever, pal.
If it's not nailed down and you can trade the person for future assets, trade. This team is not, in my opinion, is in no way, shape, or form built to win. You got to figure out what the goal is. If the goal is to win a World Series, which I think was always the goal, I personally do not see this team equipped or even close to being equipped to winning long 7-game, best of 7-game series in the postseason if you were to get in and if you were to get past the first couple of rounds. So I think it's if you're doing this change and transformation, be honest with yourself and say we're not good enough. And if you can trade veterans or free agents to be that may close games, and you could get somebody for them that could help you in the future, do it. And it's time to go. It's time to rebuild. It's time to be all in on that and not kid yourself or think you're fooling fans by staying in it. Because again, what's the goal? Is the goal to win the World Series? Or is the goal to have a home playoff game?
Base it right there at the end. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel just that way. The only big if is if you can trade any of these people. If the veterans will agree to waive the no trade, and if you can get anything for the other people, are you willing to part with the people that do have value, like a Mason Wynn or an Ivan Herrera or a Matthew Libator? Are you willing to trade those guys? You going to start over without those guys? I don't know.
But I think Joe's position could be, even if it's not overly specific, well, you got to trade Hills. I think it's clarity, it's vision, it's a game plan. And that's what I think a lot of folks are waiting for.
And the execution of the game plan.
Yeah, well, correct, a game plan that was announced that really hasn't formulated. I think you don't even have to get into, what are you going to do with Lars? What are you going to do with Arenado? You can't trade Gray. I agree that there's still a lot of particulars, but I think the main theme is what exactly is the plan and how we're going to go about it.
Is it possible that the Cardinals really had intended to make big changes in the offseason and just couldn't get it done? Found no takers?
Well, Arenado
people who don't want the guys?
Yeah, Arenado had played out publicly that they couldn't get it done.
They went to Contreras and Gray.
And didn't want to leave. Right. Mm-hmm. So it made it, from the get-go, an almost impossible mission to say we're really young this year. Well, they're not. We're playing all the young guys. Well, you can't. So it never quite fit the narrative. And I think Joe's voice is just frustrated. Grew up going to a lot of Cardinal games, was at a lot of big games, called a lot of big games. And now it's just this lull. And I think he is, at this point, the voice of the Cardinal fan who's used to bigger and better days.
Yes, and incredibly frustrated as well. And listen, I love hearing it. I know a lot of other Cardinal fans love hearing it as well. I loved the press conference last year, and I think it was in October, maybe it was in early November, where Bloom was introduced, because they were announcing that they were beginning the process of getting back on track. Now, another thing that Joe said was, okay, you're going to spend money on young players and rebuilding your minor league system. And he also said, all while you didn't dive deep in the free agent pool over the last few years. So how you missed out on the minor leagues at the same time, should be called to attention. But okay, I loved that they announced they were going to do it. Fine. Smart thing to do. Got the work stoppage coming up. You have uncertainty with regard to your television deal at that time. Makes sense. I'm all for it. The issue is they didn't wind up actually doing it. And so that's the part that frustrates me 7 months after that press conference.
I think it's possible the Cardinal Brain Trust feels the exact same way that Joe does and just can't do anything. They're hamstrung by no trade contracts with Contreras and Gray and Arenado, and they don't want to part with guys like Mason Wynn and Ivan Herrera. And then beyond that, what do you have to trade? Who do you have that other teams are going to want to give you anything that you can actually start to rebuild? You might be able to offload guys for nothing, but what are you really going to get in return that's going to get you closer to being a World Series team? That's the hard part.
And I think the saddest thing is next year's roster feels pretty similar to this one. You'll have an opening with Fetty and Michaelis, and you'll get some younger pitching in theory in there. Could bring back Lance Lynn one more time. But I think the team is sort of locked in mostly for next year already. So if I'm Chaim Bloom, I'm already thinking, okay, how do I freshen this up? I mean, maybe Weatherholt's your spring story next year. How do you could say, okay, McGreevy finally gets to stay. There's the new slogan. But how different are they next year? I think that, and then you got the lockout the year after that, so nobody's going to spend any money this offseason.
No.
So you're kind of in a year and a half lull. But again, how do you message that? I think at some point, if you say we're going to trade some pieces, we're looking to the future, at some point you got to let Chaim be the voice of that plan because it's quote unquote his team relatively soon.
Well, you talk about the no trade clauses with Contreras and Gray. Understood. They did not approach Miles Michaelis, not because they didn't want to trade him, because they say they knew he wasn't going to. And then Miles Michaelis flat out told us when we were sitting there in Jupiter, he wouldn't have accepted a trade anyway. So they didn't even bother. Okay, all understood. Well, Ryan Helsley said to us also that he thought he was going to be traded in the offseason.
I wish he would have said, well, it would have made more sense to trade. It's kind of like he just assumed it would happen.
And then from the standpoint of, okay, what about Eric Fetty? If you want to make sure you get some of these young guys experience this year, you're stuck with Sonny Gray. And I say that not because he's a poor pitcher, but he's not going anywhere. But you want to make sure they get experience. You want to make sure that you begin that transition. Then it would make sense to part ways there as well. So, yes, Arenado, and they did try to make the move. They did have a deal with Houston. That's out of their control. Contreras, it's out of their control. Gray, it's out of their control, but that doesn't mean that everybody else is out of their control. And if the strategy that is announced to the fan base that is clearly frustrated is not followed up on or executed, all it does is further damage the credibility of what was a blue chip stock in this market. Your thoughts are welcome. 314-399-9646. That is how you can text into the Air Comfort Service text inbox. You can talk it over in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. It's youtube.com/TMASTL. And we welcome you to participate by calling in as well. Callier and Thompson phone lines, 314-974-0101. Good morning, boys. My wife left me. That's from Bophades. And Martin, you're observing that every day at around this time, he texts that in.
Yeah, and he starts to attach other things. He'll say, great Cardinals win, guys. My wife left me.
You can't get
I'm shocked the Blues let John Kelly go. Also, my wife left me.
Doug's work husband.
That's not who it was.
I avoided it for a few days last week because I wasn't sure if he was serious and sad or if it was a bit, but it's a consistent text. I will say that. Okay. I'm both at ease. I hope all is well.
Larry Thornton worked with Frank, who just was talking about Doug's work husband, at KSDK. He was a sports producer for a number of years, and he texts in, if the Cardinals would have had an actual 5-year plan at any time, they could have had something to stick to and could have traded some of these guys with a little promise while there was still hope for a great return. Instead, they just prayed Lars Nootbaar would be a star. That's from Larry Thornton. in the Air Comfort Service text.
And Lars is the left-handed Harrison Bader. There's a little talent there, for sure. I mean, compared to all of us, extremely talented. But at the baseball level, pretty good player, but not an all-star, not an impact outfielder. And the last impact outfielder, hopefully he's listening in Oklahoma, Matt Holliday.
No, Matt the Bat.
Grichuk was good for a second.
But don't you think
Scotty was good for a second?
Newt Barr can still kind of like he's still like the sabermetrics and analytics kind of still love him. You could say that he's been better with injury this year, which has been a concern of his.
Yes.
Better,
relatively speaking.
Better than his past.
Doug, Biscuits with McGravy is back, and it's great to see Biscuits with McGravy. Ron, how do you like that text name? Biscuits with McGravy, spelled M-U-H''gravy. Says, got to respectfully disagree with you, Tim. It's not out of their control if they are the ones who signed these players up for the no-trade clause contracts. That's from Biscuits with McGravy. I understand where you're coming from. Respect the position. But for where they are now, that is the deal. So, we can go back to when they gave the no trade clause for each of these guys. That's certainly welcome to be discussed. But for the purpose of where they were following the announcement that they were going to begin a process of focusing on the long term as opposed to the short term, at that point, all of those no trade clauses were there and had been signed by both parties. So to relitigate that, we're welcome to do it. But for the purpose of this conversation, that's not what we're talking about, because those no trade clauses were already in effect, and therefore it was out of their control at that point. So that is where I am coming from. Biscuits with McGravy, but it's great to have you back. Welcome back to the show.
You ever think in journalism school one day you'd have a serious discussion with Biscuits with McGravy?
I'm glad that I have. It's a dream come true.
I would like Biscuits with McGravy to call the Francesa show and just see what unfolds.
Yeah, one of the things they're talking about on the Francesa show is the film Superman, Martin. And Mike.
Are there any cuts of that?
Yeah, actually, Jackson has one. Doug, I don't know if you're going to want to see the film after hearing this review. Here's Mike Francesa. Okay. We had 7 clips at the start of the week on Mike Francesa's 8-minute review of the Superman film. Here's clip 3. Well, you're going to find out.
All right. This is just awful. I mean, I actually think the people who wrote this must have been on some kind of hallucinogen before they decided that this was a wrap and this was what they were going to go with. The creative consultants and the writers in this thing must have all been absolutely rocked before they made this thing. That's how bad it was. I can't tell you.
Oh, wait a minute. He can't tell you what?
Yeah, what kind of edit was that?
Do we need to hear the next cut? Because it felt like he was mid-thought.
Gosh. It's not the kind of edit I'm comfortable with.
Gosh, you tune in to Channel 4 tonight. The mayor is addressing the city. The most important thing that has ever happened to our town. And that was the mayor of the city. Wait, what? We're down to 4 cuts.
Just very disappointing.
That is just pure incompetence.
I'm going to say it, and I'm going to tell you the truth. That's why you hit the play button. He's an embarrassment.
Oh, okay. So there's 4 to go. I feel each of the 4 we've played have all been the same.
He could also be talking about grown-ups, too.
Oh, yeah.
Is that horrible? God,
you won't let that go.
I feel compelled to watch it.
Oh, I'm still
Doug's talked about it. Jackson says, don't bother.
It had its moment. And that moment has since passed.
Okay.
But, you get wins where you can.
All right.
John Scores is in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat saying, I was against it before, but screw it. Go get Acuna.
Go get Well, I think the guy likely to be traded, obviously, would be Helsley. That's a guy that contenders would love to have in their bullpen as you get here at the end of the season in the playoffs. Beyond that, other teams would cough up something for Donovan, for Wynn, maybe Herrera, maybe Gorman, maybe Palante. I don't know. Who else has Libator? Who else has trade value that you're really going to get something significant?
Texter suggested getting rid of Brendan Donovan. His stock is up. I think they're more likely to lock. Tim, I think he's probably getting one of those 4-year, 5-year Piscotty, Wong, Carp deals. I think that's coming.
If this were a normal time in baseball's history, I would say yes. I'm not sure they would be as apt to do it with the work stoppage looming, but maybe that is immaterial to their plans. Maybe that is something that Chaim Bloom will want to prioritize when he is allowed into the Oval Office. I don't know.
What if Mo just stays and keeps the office? Hey, guys, you got it from here. Just keeps the office, and the DeWitt say, sounds good.
If you don't trade Helsley, he's an unrestricted free agent next year. Are the Cardinals willing to pay the $15 to $20 million it'll probably cost to keep him around for the next couple of years?
No.
So wouldn't it make all the sense in the world to trade?
Yes, and it has. It has for a while.
It has. It has since November when they announced that they were moving toward a future game plan.
I think the biggest Cardinal adjacent story today, and I'm being serious, is this Savannah Bananas selling out 2 nights at Busch. So all of the talk about crime and downtown, and I don't want to go to the ballpark, all of a sudden, if it's the Savannah Bananas, people will pack up, go down, park, walk around that downtown area, the same one where you have the Chicago Cubs in town, and it's half full. But if the Banana Ball comes in, sold out back-to-back nights. I mean, honestly, if I'm the DeWitts, I'm going, okay, so people are willing to come into this building that we own. They're willing to park down here. They're willing to come downtown on a weekend. But they'll do it if they're really intrigued. Granted, it's 2 games. It's not 81. I still think that's pretty telling. Like, okay, you give me a good product or something interesting, I'll show up. If I were them, I would look at it and say, okay, we need to be more entertaining. We need fans who are excited about our product.
I'm asking this is sincerely because I'm aware of the Savannah Bananas, of course. Is this something where it's families taking, like this isn't like a group of 25-year-old guys going to this?
No, I think it's family-driven.
If they are, please call in.
You would like to talk to them, Jackson?
Yeah.
314-974-0101. If you and your buddies in your 20s or 30s are heading down to watch the Savannah Bananas, you move to the front of the line. Pest is sorry.
Everybody says it's a bit like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. And if you go, and they still tour the Globetrotters, it's very family-friendly.
Extremely. More than I gave credit to when I first saw them.
The Bananas, you're saying?
No, the Harlem Globetrotters. But I think the Bananas are.
I think it is, Tim, largely a family event. Yeah. What I would love, and we used to send producer Joe out into the field for reporting, for assignments.
Yes, we did.
I don't know what LJP has planned, but I got to tell you, it'd be a great reporting night because I honestly want to know the people walking in there.
Papers, you going to the Savannah Bananas?
Like doing a stand-up, like man on the street?
Like just a handheld recorder, you know, like Kevin Kleen chasing people in the streets of St. Louis.
Vox Pops.
But
you got to be built different to do that man on the street stuff.
Built different. My honest question.
Larry Nickel would do it outside of wrestling events for us. Sure. Wonderful.
That'll get him on the air.
Kurt and I did it in Vegas. Man, what a scene.
Local news people do that all the time.
I've said good on them.
You had to do it, Doug. Did you fans?
1,000 times.
Wouldn't you stand there and kind of go, no, they're not. They don't look friendly. No. Oh, they look like they want to talk. You kind of do a
Jackson and I resorted to paying to get people to participate.
I was holding up $3 single bills saying, please come over.
Here's your reward.
Seriously?
Well, it's easier when you have like a TV camera and it looks official. Like people are like kind of gravitate towards that, like mosquitoes at a light.
But I want to ask people going to the game, where are you from? Which is kind of Kurt level creepy, but where are you from? And I want to say, do you go to Cardinal game? If they say we drove in from Iowa, okay, well then maybe that answers it. But if they say I'm from Melville, I'm from Afton, I just wanted to see the show. Hey, do you go to Cardinal games? No, I don't go. I would like to know if there are Cardinal fans showing up for this, but they don't go to other games.
I'm sure it'll be a big mix. It'll be everything. Everything.
Well, why don't you go down and interview him for the 4
Well,
Fox
I'm
tonight?
so busy. Pressed for time.
Are you?
It's a bunch of pudgy soccer moms going together to watch the guys take their shirts off. Is that what it is? That's
I don't know.
618?
I didn't know they did. They work topless. There'd be a lot of casual baseball fans who kind of know what baseball is, but hey, that looks like fun. Let's go do that.
Papers chooses boy trips to the woods over a baseball game. That's from the Warson Woods Wacko. Jackson.
That's leaving out a lot of nuance, I think. But yeah, I would personally rather go hang out with my friends. Woods, rainforest, beach, really any sort
there's
of
no beaches
topography.
around here.
What about rainforests?
I don't know of any.
Rainforest Cafe, that shut down, unfortunately, in Chicago. Great time. Oh, yeah.
What's that little kind of Hoosier little beach down the way?
Get more specific. Where?
You jump off like a high ledge or something.
Where?
It's out.
What state?
In Missouri.
Okay.
It's I can't.
Fugitive Beach?
That sounds right. Maybe I don't know. There's some where kids used to go and they would jump off a high ledge, and I always thought that was just asking for trouble.
Eric in the Central West End says there are definitely some hot ripped guys on the Bananas. That's Eric in the Central West End.
Yeah, they take their shirts off sometimes.
They do.
Well, they'll do little dances.
I
And
know.
they got the guys
I've seen
with
the
stilts.
dancing.
It's wild.
I would go, I think, if I had tickets.
You're folksy.
Just different, something
You can watch it
different.
on YouTube.
Yeah, maybe
It's a 2-hour presentation.
Oh, yeah?
They have a dress rehearsal. I was looking at the media availability, and then they have an actual dress rehearsal. It's kind of like the NFL before a team moves. You kind of walk through it all.
Usually they bring a former Cardinal if they're in St. Louis. They did this with Johnny Damon when they were in Boston, for example. So I'm curious who the former Cardinal will be. Who do you think will be?
You're saying recently Johnny Damon was part of the
when they
show.
were at Fenway a week or two ago, Johnny Damon came up
Maybe Ozzy?
on a home run by the Wizard. That
Yeah.
could make sense.
You think he could still do a backflip? He's about 70.
They do backflips before they catch the ball.
I know. I've seen that.
Maybe inspired by the Wizard. That's a great question. What Cardinal?
Good morning. I'm from Baldwin, and I weigh 250 pounds. I'm 5'7". My wife and kids are very excited for Banana Ball. I am not, but my kids will like it. That's from the Linda Sniffer, Doug, and it sounds like he's defeated.
He's 5'7", 250.
That's about right, isn't it?
He was a little stout. A little stout. Probably all muscle,
Thank you.
be my guess.
Kind of a Mike LaValliere build, it sounds like.
Spanky?
Right?
You think he got up to 250?
You think he was less? You're saying?
I think he was less than 250, yeah.
Stop. Stop the fast food. Do a sit-up. Do something.
Pozo's only 211.
Well, I don't know about that either.
Is that a highlight of last year's report, or is that a new report? That's last year's report, so that's not a new report on Wheeler.
It's not a new report. But if you are going to the game, I'm serious. I want to know people, their interest level, and are they Cardinal fans? Or are these people that are going non-Cardinal fans? To be the equivalent of seeing the circus at Enterprise and has nothing to do with Blues fans. Maybe.
I bet they bring Colby Rasmus back, and I can't wait to see it. That's from the 314.
Huh.
I think it's going to be Jim Edmonds. That's from the 314. I'd short that market.
Although I would love it. Get off the stilts. You're going to fall.
That'd be great.
It would be great. Oh, by the way, Tim, when you were gone, the Washington Nationals were in town.
Yep.
And nobody's playing better than the Nats.
Amen.
Their hitting coach, Darnell Coles.
Yes!
He was in town.
Did he
And
come in studio?
He did not. And we talked, I think we workshopped it off air or on air. And I said, I think it goes back to the fact Fox Midwest used him as a baseball analyst in a
2000, that's correct.
And we're like, what? And they said, former Cardinal, Darnell Coles. And everybody said, I'm sorry, who?
Who would be the equivalent of that over the last 10 years?
Well, there's a lot to choose from.
I mean, Ryan
Cecil's
Valais
opinions on the
Garrett Hampson?
Yeah. Like Brandon
He's the
Crawford.
starting center fielder.
No, he's too big a name.
That was so good. Yeah, we were down and they were introducing him during one of those workout days before they played the Braves, right before the Rick Ankiel blow-up game. I said, hey, I want you to meet somebody. I'm sure you know him. He's a former Cardinal. It's Darnell Coles. Oh, nice to meet you. And they said he's going to be our postseason analyst. Oh, nice. Looking forward to his thoughts. And now he's the hitting coach for Natitude.
Okay.
I laughed when I was scanning their game notes. It said former Cardinal is the hitting coach for the Washington Nationals.
Guys, I think it would be Taylor Motter. That's from the 314. Taylor Motter would be the postseason analyst for when the Cardinals get in this year, Doug.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
A suggestion that Jeremy Hazelbaker could be the equivalent.
Okay,
if you had a Cardinals postseason to talk about, you would have Hazelbaker as your onset guest.
Count me in.
All right,
Okay,
Jackson's
you're
in. You're welcome to give your thoughts as well by texting in 314-399-9646. Save that number in your phone, and you can participate in the Air Comfort Service text inbox. You can also call in at 314-974-0101. Callier and Thompson, sponsor of the phone lines. We deep teased Joe Buck's thoughts on the Cardinals. We will have his thoughts on John Kelly on the other side of the break. This is TMA 101 ESPN.
Hey, this is Jackson with a Sports Center update. It's driven to you by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The All-Star break is coming to a close as the Cardinals are back in action this evening in Phoenix, Arizona, where they're going to take on the Diamondbacks with an 8:40 p.m. first pitch. Andre Pallante towing the slab for the Redbirds. That was their Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Oh, boy, this is going to put it in perspective. Wow.
Just these simple little notes, Doug.
Tough.
Never saw the picture. After Grown Ups 2, I may never watch another movie the rest of my life.
You should watch Teen Wolf 2, spelled T-O-O.
That was a Jason Bateman film. This, of course, is from the original Teen Wolf, which had best screenplay, but it didn't win Best Picture.
It won most accurate basketball ever represented in a film.
Really?
By a werewolf?
Michael J. Fox is just standing feet away from somebody as they're shooting a free throw.
That's not true. The guy playing Mick McCarthy did. If you're going to criticize the film, you damn well better have your facts straight on this show.
Either way, it was one of the most egregious lane violations I think I've ever seen.
The title of that instrumental, Doug, as you know, is Boof, and it welcomes us back here on TMA 101 ESPN and on YouTube at youtube.com/TMASTL. Joe Buck with us on yesterday's program, and asked him about what he thought is a headline this morning. Again, it's now been 8 days since John Kelly was let go, if you want to call it that. He didn't have his contract or whatever term you want. And, of course, Joe knows the Kelly family well. Passionate Blues fan. Here is what he had to say.
They deserve the criticism. It makes no sense. But I don't know the inner workings of it. And it has more than zero to do with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. They are phenomenal, and Kerber blows me away with how good he is on radio hockey play-by-play. I cannot imagine doing anything more difficult than radio hockey play-by-play. So set that miles aside. How can you make this move with a trusted voice and somebody who's got the legacy there, and somebody who's just been all in, and is a comforting person to listen to? It just feels right. And you always knew where John stood. You always knew where his heart was. I don't get it. I'm sure there are reasons for it. I haven't read a ton about the reasons for it, but I do not understand it, and it's disappointing.
Hit the goalpost.
Yeah, off the post. Mm-hmm. This morning in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Dan Caesar really lays into the Blues. The title of the article on the front page of the Post-Dispatch, the website, stltoday.com, Blues fan duel disrespect John Kelly, family legacy with ungracious ouster. And so even though it has been 8 days, the intensity of confusion and or frustration is still there.
I like the word ouster, by the way. The question I have, and it's not all that important to the fan base, but if you're John, who I know I've not talked to him, but who I very clearly understand from those who have, he is obviously not happy about this. At what point is there a healing? So when Albert Pujols left, people were mad, they hated him, whatever. Then 10 years later, he comes back, he's the hero that has a historic run. Now it's like, hey, it's almost like he never left in a weird way. And Darren Pang had a better offer, but was kind of upset about it, wanted to at least be pursued, but comes back with the Blackhawks. They announce he's there, and there's plenty of love, and there's just like good feelings. If you tell John Kelly in 5 years, hey, you're getting a blue jacket, you're going into the Blues Hall of Fame, does he say, nah, I'm good? Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious, because of the legacy, because of all of the good memories. When does that heal? And whether that matters or not, that's something I'm intrigued by, because there's such a leg. My understanding, his whole family, he's got a lot of sisters, he's got a younger brother. They're all just kind of pissed off at the Blues about it.
Yeah. It's going to upend their life for sure. I would think it would take a while. It's not going to happen in a year or two, I wouldn't think. I hope for his sake if he can land another job. Because
that's a big piece of this. It's so late in the summer that they waited. That's among the reasons it pisses me off the way they handled it is the timing. You just don't do that. Especially, like I said, it's not Bill Smith who moved here from Wyoming 3 years ago. His contract's up. Nice guy. Hey, Bill. Sorry you moved here from Wyoming, but it happens. This is different. So I don't know. I'm going to reach out to John again. I did the initial day that it happened. I texted him. And he said, hey, thanks, Martin. I appreciate it. And I said, if you want to, I mean, part of my job is if people want to react to the news, and it's a little awkward in the moment. But he said, I'm going to let this process, I need to process this for a little bit. But I'm going to reach out to him again.
Jake in St. Genevieve says, players get cut, dropped, put on waivers, traded. It's a business, and we all get it. Why should it be different for John Kelly? That's from Jake in St. Genevieve.
Because it is. Now, Jake, that's a terrible take. And I'm being serious. That's a terrible take. This is not a catcher who was called up from the minors 2 years. It's a guy who's been here 21 years, whose legacy, his dad and him, have over 40 years of calling Blues hockey. And it's a franchise that talks about their history, their nostalgia, the past. They just rolled out a new uniform, for God's sakes, and talked about, oh, look at this little shade of blue. This is like the old 60s. Like, they love links to their past. The press box is named the Dan Kelly press box. So this is not the same as just some player who was here for 3 or 4 years. Sorry, bad take.
I think the thing that stayed at 10 o'clock, and oftentimes at that point, people who are listening now were not listening at that point, which is why we are revisiting it, is that if you are inside the Blues offices, I'm just surprised that it got to a point where there wasn't enough pushback, take your pick from wherever, that somebody didn't go, I think the juice isn't going to be worth the squeeze on this one. Even if there is some kind of financial savings, which Chris Zimmerman has said was not the reason, that the backlash and the disappointment from the fan base is not worth what we're going to do. And I'm really surprised that it actually got to the point of it being done. And I think they might, right now, wish they had it back. Of course, I don't think that that's going to happen, but I think they may wish they had it back.
I think the clarity...
they calculated accurately the irritation or anger that Blues fans have for this.
And I've heard people say, well, they start the year 8-2, nobody cares, they move on, fans move on. I agree with that. Now, if the broadcast struggles from the transition from radio to TV, there'll be more scrutiny for sure for Kerber and Vitale. But if the team starts well, that'll be the focus. I get it. People move on. Everybody's replaceable. There's always a big uproar, and then they move on. I get that. It still doesn't make it right, is my point. And the thing that I've been able to determine, I'd say damn near 100%, is this was the Blues decision, the Blues call, and it just bothers me that we keep hearing FanDuel. Like, oh, they made us do this. Like, no, they didn't.
I share that opinion with passion with you.
And that bothers me because you can own it. It's a tough call. Here's why we're doing it. It's kind of what we said with the Cardinals. Just lay it out there. Here's why we're doing it. Here's what we tried to do. It didn't work.
And that's coming from my perspective as somebody who has been, so critical of what has been from a broadcasting perspective, both with the Blues and the Cardinals and their app. I mean, you have to include the conversation about going into bankruptcy, which I think was a miscalculation of the sports betting market when they got into it and put the Bally's name behind it. And now FanDuel, so it is a company that it's not been highly endorsed by this program in any capacity, or at the very least by me. But you're running for cover on a move that you absolutely would have veto power on. So this whole thing that FanDuel and Norby Williamson and Jay Rothman were behind it, that is just missing the point in a major way, and it's absolving the Blues. And I got to say, I just disagree with it vehemently. You're telling me that there is a sports team that would not have final say on who announces their games? That is just an absurd premise. I guess it's great for those in the Blues who are experiencing criticism that some people are actually believing that, but that is not the way this industry works.
And if anything, the Blues right now have more power than ever in their negotiations with a TV outlet that's struggling. It's in the final year of a deal. If you want to get something done, you want to do a certain move, you tell that outlet, FanDuel, here's what we're doing. If you don't like it, we got other options these days. You know, the relationship between the cable carrier and the team is shakier than it's ever been. So I think maybe in the past, a team, we'll say hypothetically the Blues, would defer to Midwest. Well, if that's what you want, okay, that's fine. But in this case, it more than ever is up for grabs, and the Blues can dictate the terms.
If it seems to me, if it's not about saving money, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, the press release
have two different broadcast groups for virtually every major professional sport.
Right.
It is possible to do a simulcast, but usually that's a last gasp attempt to save another few $100,000 on a couple more salaries. It's not because it makes the product better. It's just because it saves money.
Right. I would say
if they're denying that this is not about money, then it really doesn't make much sense at all.
Well, the press release the Blues put out, and it said Chris Kerber has earned this opportunity. And I think that maybe if we're wondering why they do this, there's your answer. It's right there in the press release. They said Kerber has earned this opportunity. But I would think a simulcast is less than preferred for the two outlets involved. I think it's probably not ideal. And that's the piece of it that I don't quite understand.
Yeah, you would think a simulcast is more difficult to pull off.
For sure.
Because different things are happening on the radio side than on the TV side. Again, if you told me that we're hemorrhaging money and we just had to save a few $100,000 and this is one way to do it, I'd say, okay, I don't like it, but I get it. And when you say it's not about money at all, it's about making the product better, that I don't get. As great as Kerber is, the situation was pretty darn good just the way they had it.
Your thoughts are welcome on the topic. You can call in 314-974-0101. Callier and Thompson sponsor the phone lines. You can text in. Air Comfort Service sponsor the text inbox 314-399-9646. And you can also get involved by talking it over with other TMA listeners at youtube.com/TMASTL. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. The program is called The Morning After, and it is presented to you by Brown and Crouppen here on 101 ESPN and on the YouTube channel that is youtube.com/TMASTL, where you can talk it over with other TMA listeners. And there are 163 in there, including the Lemay adjacent Wildcat, Kitty Bates, Jake and St. Genevieve, Big Blonde Dan, and Doug's Broken Gong. They're all in there talking it over. You can join in the conversation as well. That YouTube chat brought to you by Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbohydrates. Michelob Ultra, sponsor of the YouTube chat, sponsor of the Dotem earlier this year. And we got another golf tournament that'll be coming up later in the year. It's Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. If you're out with some friends this weekend, enjoy it with a Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbohydrates. It's Michelob Ultra, sponsor of our YouTube chat. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you. Jackson Burkett is on the ones and twos. Chairman Kurt monitoring the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Fisher Window and Door Store, 8 o'clock hour next. This is TMA 101 ESPN.
The website is flyMidAmerica.com. That's for Mid-America's St. Louis Airport, Mascoutah, Illinois, not far at all from downtown St. Louis. And when you head there, you're going to have a great flight to a great destination, whether it's Vegas, Hilton Head, Knoxville, Gulf Shores, Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, 7 different Florida locations, all out of Mid-America's St. Louis Airport. And when you travel there, you'll find that air travel can, in fact, be convenient, no hassles. Park on that huge lot right in front of the terminal, less than $10 a day. You get through, get to the gate. It's typically, they've timed this, it's about 15 minutes from your car to the gate, and then you're on your way, typically somewhere fun. I've been to the airport many times, and when you're there, you see people who are just excited. They're going somewhere fun, and they know it's going to be an easy experience. It's the way to travel. People have figured it out. They're starting to expand over there at Mid-America St. Louis Airport. Get online, book your flight to Allegiant with all these great destinations, low prices, convenience, all rolled into one. Book your flight today at flymidamerica.com.
Hey, folks, Joey Vitale here, and I'm here to talk to you about my good friend Jason and his wonderful company, SchaeferDoor.com. You can find them on the website, but it's the Schaefer Door Company. They're doing incredible things with garage doors. I've been there. I've done that. Sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone. You load up the car, you get the kids, you're all packed up for a picnic or a chance to go to the river, whatever you want to do. You go to hit that doggone button and the garage door doesn't open. It's a pain in the rear end, but good news for you. You have a friend in the garage business. Go to SchaeferDoor.com. It's best to call them, though. Give them a call. Shoot them a text. 636-782-3608 is their number. They're going to get you all fixed up, and you're going to be out and on your way before you know it. They do homes. They do small businesses. They are an incredible company, big enough and spread out enough to hit all the St. Louis areas across the board, but small enough also to be answering your calls. They care. Give them a call. 636-782-3608 is Schaefer Door.
Doug, does this get you fired up for Brian Harmon to waggle over the ball for 10 minutes?
I get car sick watching him.
Oh, no. Jackson's not happy with the happy little hunter.
I mean, truly, I need to take a Dramamine before watching a final round with him.
See if Joey Vitale's mad about it. He joins us right now on the Callier and Thompson phone. Morning, Joey.
Hey, Tim's back. Thank goodness.
Woo! Stop it.
Boy, it just sounds like that's the voice of St. Louis right there,
I don't
Doug.
know that it is.
Those King Works.
Tough week last week for the vintage fellas, but they made it. You're still employed. Marty and Doug, it's good to talk to you all.
The vintage fellas.
The vintage fellas.
And now
Is that the Sunshine Boys, the vintage fellas?
Now I'm starting to think back. Joey had a commercial read last week that just turned into heavy breathing. And maybe he was just thinking about Tim. Now that I'm thinking back.
Yeah, that was my first read from my good friend J-Bone at Schaefer Door. Jackson and I got our wires crisscrossed a little bit. We did not understand each other. We are dialed in now, though. We're ready to go.
We got in the end zone. Sometimes you do it on first down. Sometimes you do it on third down.
That moment was sponsored. I believe that was sponsored by CTE. That Vitale read last week.
Your words
Okay, Marty. Okay, Marty.
You crossed the line right there, Martin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the line. All right, we found the line. There it is.
There's the line.
Joey Vitale is brought to us by Schaefer Door Company. That's Jason Gosrow, who apparently is doing business now as J-Bone. Jason Gosrow of Schaefer Door Company. And Doug, I was out with my wife having just a random Tuesday dinner.
Oh, were you?
I'll tell you. You want to guess where I was? Would you like to guess? You like a guessing game?
Billy G's.
No, it's a good guess. We were thinking about Billy G's.
I was there last night.
Cracker Barrel.
Do you have the pork chop?
No, I had the veggie bowl.
Living large.
What'd you guess, Jackson?
Cracker Barrel.
Great guess.
Four hands.
Nope. Olive and Oak.
Olive and Oak. Going home.
Had time. Her parents had the boys, and so we're like, let's go get dinner. So we just shot up there and had a couple glasses of wine and dinner. Nothing wrong with that. And guess who I run into?
Oh, God. Initials?
J-Bone,
Oh,
DBA, Jason Gosrow of Schaefer Door Company, and we talked about this Joey Vitale segment, which he wanted. He came to me and said, hey, how do I get to sponsor Joey Vitale's Friday Conversations with you guys? I love that segment. How about that, Joey?
Hey, did you tell him to get in line?
Oh, gosh.
Always tell the sponsor to get in line.
You say, hey, big boy, get in line and bring your wallet.
I should have said that when we were talking.
Did I hear a really
Yeah, you should.
produced open for Joey? That was pretty slick. Is that new?
Was that you, Papish?
Me and Mike Ryder, executive producer at 101 ESPN. We put that together.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't remember saying half of that stuff, by the way. I think this is manufactured falsely.
You think this is Joey Vitale AI?
You're claiming I doctored it?
I think so. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't remember saying that.
Oh, okay.
But maybe I did. Well, anyway, Tim, good for you. Olive and Oak, one of my all-time favorite spots in St. Louis. Did you get the octopus?
I did absolutely got the charred octopus.
I don't want a tentacle.
Feed it to me all over my chest.
Are you eating the octopus's head or the tentacles?
More tentacles, I think, than not.
And the big suction cups in there.
Put that suction cup on my tongue, boy.
It's nice and ropey.
Oh.
If there's an entree that I go on a date with Tim with my wife that I guarantee you I'm not getting lucky that night, is I have the octopus.
Oh, is that right? She doesn't find that to be an aphrodisiac.
Well, I mean, think about it. You got your tentacle hanging out my mouth. I eat like a caveman, so I got a tentacle hanging. I got that beautiful red creamy sauce they loaded up with. It's just all over my face. I'm slobbering like an animal, and I got a tentacle coming out. And there's just nothing. There's nothing attractive about me eating the octopus from Olive and Oak, but it is fantastic.
Nice.
But there is nothing like seeing the media eat.
Okay, where do you get octopus around here?
River to Pear.
River to Pear's got an octopus problem.
Fugitive Lake.
I just say the old miss, Doug, deep river.
Clark W. Griswold.
You think they got him there?
That's right. Oh yeah, baby. Big catfish and octopus.
Yeah. I'm not interested.
Joey Vitale with us every Friday here on TMASTL. A. We haven't had a chance to talk. Now, we've texted, but we haven't had a chance to talk. What has the last week to 8 days been like for you? Because the story of John Kelly is so certainly overshadowing in St. Louis what is an opportunity for you and an advancement in your career. So it's a very weird dynamic. And I specifically recall, and you might remember this, me, you, and Martin's guy, and my roommate Matt Poling, and we were up at the schoolyard. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Okay. Think about that. And it was the day that it was announced that TMA was coming over to 101 ESPN. And you're like, man, you seem all down about it. And I go, yeah, because we're catching a bunch of hell for something. And, it's not like we said, hey, we demand. You're kind of in the weird spot of having something that's an opportunity, but then there are a number of people who aren't happy about it. So I'm curious what your experience has been like here over the last 8 days.
Yeah, Tim, I appreciate you saying that. It's funny you bring that up because I think to me, it's the exact same thing, I think, to some degree to what you guys have went through in that transition. And, it's hard to put into words what I'm feeling because I don't know what I'm feeling. And it's left me a little confused because it is an exciting opportunity for Curbs and I and for this entire team that they're putting together. But at the same time, you're losing touch with some really good friends, and you see some friends that are having to struggle, and I'm really going to throw Jamie Rivers in the mix there too, because he's a friend of mine as well. And, obviously he's still going to be a part of the show, but for him now to move to studio and then now John Kelly to, essentially be out of a job, it certainly has been a confusing time. And I was talking to Chris Kerber a little bit yesterday, and it's hard to conceptualize what we're feeling, because we are excited, but I think we're both still feeling the burn of what this means for our friend. And like you said, you're right. It's something that they approached us with and said, would you like this opportunity? And of course we would. And I don't know if there's a guy in show business that deserves it more than Chris Kerber. He's been doing it for 25 years. Calling for Blues games here. And I appreciate and I really respect what Joe Buck said yesterday, which you guys played. And I respect his opinion, and I think he's actually bang on. I don't know a guy in the league right now that can make this simulcast work like Chris Kerber because of his preparedness and, of course, how his professionalism and not to mention just his energy and his attention to detail. So I know for a fact that it's going to get pulled off incredibly. I think it's going to be a very entertaining broadcast, and I think fans are going to be very pleased. It's going to take a little patience, but I know that side of it. So part of me is just super excited about that journey. But at the same time, John, who is a great friend, and he lives in Kirkwood with me, we cross paths quite a bit. We've, again, I know his family, and we talk about the green beans down at the Kirkwood market. I love to just poke fun at him on the road. And in some ways, he's kind of like my stepdad, where we love to have so much fun together, and we had great chemistry as a friendship. Now you're looking at a friend struggle. So it is bittersweet, as they say. I would say, if anything, though, Tim, it was confusing. I'm still confused. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. And if I have an update here in a week from now when we talk next Friday, I'll give you that update, because right now I'm just kind of still in this in-between.
You're kind of the unlikely announcer, wouldn't you say? And I'm being serious. Like, you didn't see this coming. Even when you played, you didn't say, oh, I wouldn't mind being a broadcaster. Is that fair?
100%. 100%. I look back, and maybe I should have thought about it more. I loved the locker room. I loved the camaraderie. I loved, being this kind of Energizer bunny and in the middle of January and the kind of the dog days of the season, and you're in Calgary and everyone's cold and kind of frustrated, or you're not in a good playoff. And I love just trying to put on a song and just trying to bring some life. And I loved learning about people. I was very curious about my teammates and their families and their situations. And I never talked about the weather. I asked them about their childhood. I was always very curious as a player and as a friend. So maybe, Marty, I should have had it more on my radar, because that's what this job is. It's being curious and trying to entertain people. So, but to answer your question, no, I never in a million years would have imagined this. I mean, my dad poured concrete. My mom was a stay-home mom. I no sports was even played up until my generation for at least for my brothers and sisters up before then. But now I find myself in a wonderful opportunity now with Curbs and to bring this broadcast to life for this fan base that quite frankly, as we have seen over the last week, that cares deeply about this organization, this team, and the sport. So I look at it as, if anything, just an opportunity to say thank you to everyone who's done it before me by just bringing my absolute very best every single day and being as prepared, energetic, and just have that enthusiasm for people. Because like I mentioned before, this city certainly deserves it, and I'm looking forward to delivering it to them.
Joey Vitale, our guest here on TMA 101 ESPN and the TMASTL YouTube channel. He is presented every Friday by Schaefer Door Company. Schaefer Door Company online at SCHAEFER door.com. If your garage door breaks or you need help with your commercial garage doors, go to SchaeferDoor.com and work with Jason Gosrow. Have you and Kerber had a chance to do some, I guess for lack of a better term, practice sessions on the television side yet?
No, we haven't yet, Tim. We kind of in our mind, or we're letting this kind of wave, this transition wave, if you will, kind of settle and just kind of transition a little bit. We both were traveling a little bit here in July, but we kind of got our sights set on, that final week of July and that kind of August 1 date. I think that's when we're going to kind of flip this page, and we are just going to get really dialed in. I expect us to sit down at the round table with all companies involved, whether it be FanDuel, the Blues, certainly our good friends at Hubbard 101, to kind of go over what we think, at least what we anticipate this to look like. We're going to use other teams around the league that have done this simulcast and see what works for them. And that, to me, is a starting point. And then from there, it's just going to be everyone jumping in and giving their opinions about how we can not only make it different but better. And I think we're going to start somewhere. And then from there, Tim, I think that Curbs and I have discussed with Blues and FanDuel as well. We're going to do a couple games in the preseason. I think we're going to do all of them actually, and then we're going to just sit down and watch. And we're going to watch a game, and we're going to listen to the call, and then we're going to go back and we're going to just listen to the call, and we're not going to watch the game because we're going to see what this thing sounds like while we're not watching it. Because one thing we want to be very, very clear about is that yes, we are going to be calling this game for the TV side. But also, we are not leaving the listeners on the radio side out to hang out to dry. We want to inform them about the score. We want to inform them that the puck just crossed the blue line because they can't see anything. So it is going to be a balance. It has been done before. It can continue to get done in the league. So it's really just about doing it, coming to the drawing table. What do we like? What didn't we like? Getting a ton of feedback from people that we really respect and understand the business, and just continuing to make adjustments to ultimately find in that sweet spot.
You think you'll have to do a lot of things differently? It seems like maybe you're going to have to do a radio-type call with a camera on you every now and then.
Yeah, Doug, it's going to be a little different, and there's so much I don't know just yet because we haven't done it. It'd be like me telling a woman or my wife telling a lady just got married, hey, you want to have kids? Well, this is what it's like. And she goes into an hour and 2 hours and gives her a book about how to get pregnant, be pregnant, have a baby. It's like, yeah, you can read all you want. What's that book? You don't know what to expect till you're expecting. It's like you can read that and you can get a little bit prepared, but you don't know until you just jump in and you do it. And you try things and you make mistakes and you learn from things. And so, again, it's going to be a learning curve. But, from my standpoint, we don't even necessarily know what vantage point we're going to be at just yet. And I think for me, it's going to be just being, obviously talking about the why, and how I adjust the why and what I fit into the why is going to be important. I sat down with Joe Micheletti when I got the radio job. This is 8 years ago now, and I get the job from Chaser, and I got to the interview process, and, I'm sitting there in August, almost this time, 8 years ago, and I'm like, okay, I got this job. I did good enough to get this job. And I remember thinking, like, how the heck do I do this job well? that's my first question. It was always, what does it take to do this job well? And I had no idea. And I asked my dad, and who, of course, was my biggest mentor. I said, Dad, I got this job, and I'm really excited, but I don't know how to do it. And he's like, well, what do you do when you don't know how to do something? And I was like, what's that? And he goes, well, I've always told you, you got to find a mentor. And I said, you got to find a good mentor. And so I looked into who I really respect, and I asked some different people who they feel is the best. And Joe Micheletti's name came across, and I know Joe, pretty well to that point. And Joe came to town, and I said, hey, Joe, I know you're just coming to town for a couple of days. Your family's here, but I'd love just to maybe give you a phone call or just pick your brain. And he said, Joe, I got something better. Let's meet over there at the Shack in Frontenac. Shout out, Shack.
Oh, yeah.
And we sat down, and I'll never forget that conversation because Joe Micheletti, he pulls out this envelope, and he just slides it across the table as we sit down for breakfast. And he said, that's for later, and then let's talk now. So we talked for an hour and a half, and here I am. I couldn't help but wonder, what is in this envelope?
Cash?
I thought it looked like cash.
You're Italian. Did you think? I'm just asking.
As an Irish American, I'd like to distance myself. My wife is Italian, and I could see this being an unfortunate moment on the show.
I'm just the voice of reason here. Because you're Italian, did you say, I've been down this road before? I know this is money, but there's something attached to this money.
Yeah. There's no whacking involved. There was no money involved. There was nothing like that. But there was a moment after the wonderful breakfast. I get back to the car, and I open the envelope, and it's, Joe, if you don't Joe, he always used yellow loose leaf. When he was in the locker room, up until the day he stepped away from the Rangers this past year, he was always writing in yellow loose leaf. And of course, I unfolded this envelope folding style, 9 pages. And he had written me a personal letter and all bullet points of how he prepares, what he does, what he looks for, every TV timeout, look for the benches. Is there someone missing? Who's missing? Just different things that I had. And it was just out of nowhere. I mean, the care in that man's heart to help me. But I bring this up because your question, Doug, how are you going to do this? I always go back to one thing when I'm calling games. I learned this from Joe. It was on that sheet. It was his very first bullet point. He said, when you're calling a game, write this word at the top of every sheet a game you do. And it's a simple word. Why? Why? W-H-Y. And he said, you should always be asking yourself why that happened. Why is this happening? All those questions are valid to your position. So every game I do, I put why at the very top. And, Doug, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put why, and I am going to watch a game, and I am going to process a game, and I am going to break down that goal, but I'm going to move backwards. What happened 3-4 plays before that? And I'm just going to describe it. I'm going to describe it the best that I can for the viewers and also the listeners, and ultimately try to find that balance as we continue to iron this thing out.
I think when you entered into broadcast, so it was 2 things, what you're talking about, learning the craft, going to someone like Micheletti, and I know you leaned on Panger a lot while you were doing the job, but I did wonder, going into that role, which around here, and I'm sure some folks, God, all you guys do is talk about broadcasters, but the news of the past week is pretty prominent. That's why it's being discussed. But when you first got the job, was there any kind of awkwardness? Like, hey, I didn't play for the Blues. And a lot of times those jobs are for former players of the team. And I'm assuming, and you've kind of won the war, like I've said that about you for a number of years now in terms of doing the job, getting a great approval rating. But was there any awkwardness because you didn't, quote, play for the Blues?
For me, no. I mean, really, I didn't care about that. It's out of my control that I didn't play for the Blues. And this is like a situation where when I came home, I think that they looked at it like, here's a different angle. Here's a younger kid, a younger voice that grew up, that went to the old barn, that cried himself to sleep when Steve Yzerman beat John Casey there in Game 7. There was a different angle there where, growing up in Athens, playing for Junior Blues, going to our alma mater, Marty, and CBC. So there was different ties to the Blues, different ties to the city, I think a different care factor to the city and the fan base, that if you are a transport and you come in from out of nowhere and then play for the Blues and you're here for a short stint, it's just different. And, I didn't really know what it would be. I don't think they did either. I think it was a big time rolling the dice for them as well, because it is untraditional. It's untraditional as if when the time they brought in Darren Pang, who never wore the blue note. And in fact, he wore a Chicago Blackhawks jersey, and I'm sure that was unpopular You know, and I remember Darren Payne telling me that. He said on the plane is we had about a couple bourbons, and I remember a conversation when I was at the very beginning, and he said, you know what, Joe, you didn't play for the Blue Note, but guess what? I didn't either. You know, and he wasn't being arrogant or bragging, but he's like, you know what? The people have learned my call, and they have learned to love what I do because I bring the professionalism and the enthusiasm, and that's all they want. They just want to be entertained. So I took that advice, and I just ran with it. You know, was it a struggle at the beginning? Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was, you know, mumbling and stepping over calls, and with curves, it was a struggle, and I was trying to find myself and find my voice. But ultimately, it just everyone kind of in that journey has a breaking point where they're like, you know what? I got to stop being Joe Micheletti. I got to stop trying to be a Kelly Chase, and I just have to be me. And I did that, and I found that little voice of bringing in different color and different aspects to things. So it's been an interesting journey. But again, I look at all the people that helped me. You know, you mentioned Darren Pang, Joe Micheletti. I actually sat down with Joe Buck, who you guys had on yesterday. We met at the Starbucks Coffee House. And he gave me some incredible advice that we could probably get into on another day, where I don't want to run out of time here. But Joe was incredible, and just leaning on those people, and like I said, leaning on the right mentors about how the right way to do it is, and then ultimately trying to find the voice that I am. But ultimately with Chris Kerber, it's a chemistry that it's undeniable, and I think that for us, we're going to continue to do that.
I love the fact that you have great attention to detail. It wasn't Starbucks. It was the Starbucks Coffee House, Tim. They met at the Starbucks Coffee House.
McDonald's hamburger restaurant.
Well, I think it's part of the deal when you make the under-the-table agreement for payola that you would.
That took place apparently at the Shack. I'm going to see if they have CCTV available.
Front neck.
People want to know if you got the Make a Grown Man Cry at the Shack, the breakfast burrito, Doug. Joey, is that what you get?
Oh, big time. Big time. Their burritos there are massive. I mean, they're the size of your head. You know, they got a mimosas, they got Bloody Marys, and then best part about the Shack. Shout out, Shack. Your kids can draw all over the wall. Yep. So, you know, the restaurants, you know, Tim, you bring your kiddos to the restaurant. Hey, say, don't put that, don't do that, put that. The Shack is like, it's like a free for all. It's like being a free range chicken. You just draw on the walls, you draw on the table, you draw everywhere. You can do whatever you want. So it's stress free for parents.
Doug, why don't you take the family up there?
I think I saw flowers on your chicken coop last night when I was driving through Kirkwood.
You were driving by Joey's house?
Yeah. Have you decorated the chicken coop?
You didn't come in to say hi. You don't help me feed the chickens, huh?
Well, I was driving by is all. I didn't think it was necessary that I come into the house. I just noticed that the chicken coop was very well decorated.
Yeah, I got to water those flowers quite a bit, actually. Yeah, we decided to. My wife decided to put some flower beds outside the chicken coop to really jazz it up, if you will. She thought the chickens needed a little something prettier to look at, which of course I agreed with because, you know, she's my wife and I don't dare disagree with her.
Right. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Lovely flowers.
Did you see any ghosts when you drove by that?
I did not see a goat. No.
No. Ghosts.
Ghosts? No. A lot of times you don't see them until they're right up on you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's been your experience with the paranormal? Joey Vitale every Friday here on the program, brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. That's SCHAEFER Door Company. Work with Jason Gosrow and his staff at Schaefer Door Company. And apparently he wants to be known as J-Bone. I didn't know that, but I got to listen to the sponsors.
Sure.
And that's what Joey's saying. Joey, what's on the itinerary for the weekend? I always like to hear what's doing, especially as you manage the roster of children.
Yes, it's just going to be managing. I'm running a restaurant, you know, running a house, running a farm. You know, it's the whole bit. It's just every day. I don't even work out anymore. It's just squatting down and picking up kids and chickens. So there'll be a lot of that. We are going to Tower Grove Farmers Market. You guys ever been to the Tower Grove Farmers Market?
I have not. No.
Oh, it's a great market. It's kind of hard to find parking, but they have this Amish guy there. I think his name's Bart. Or Barry, or Fred.
Jedediah, maybe.
Anyway, yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He can use a toothbrush. He's a great guy. Anyway, he's got these blackberries. These blackberries are the size of apples. These things are massive. So we get all these blackberries, and he's incredible. And then they have these different stands where you can get different produce and different vegetables, and then they usually have like face painting and stuff like that. But it's a great old time. So we're going to do that tomorrow night. Let's see. I'm going to O&O Pizza on Sunday. I have a couple. We're meeting over there at O&O Pizza on
Those are
Sunday.
appearances around town.
Yeah, I like
you want to
this.
see Joey, he'll be appearing this weekend.
Elephant Oak Pizza.
He's going burgering.
Shout out O&O Pizza. But then I think after that, Tim, we're gonna kind of keep it low key this weekend. We purposely try to keep everything off the books, where we're gonna have a pool / chicken party. The kids call it the pool chicken party, where they're in the pool and then they just run out and play with chickens. So we're gonna do that quite a bit.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, Doug,
Might
pool
wanna
and chicken
check the
party.
zoning over there. Yeah.
Joey Vitale here on TMA 101 ESPN, brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, boys.
There he is. It's
All
Joey
right, then.
Vitale on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. You're welcome to give your thoughts by texting in 314-399-9646. Air Comfort Service text inbox. You can call in, too. I know Pestis has been on hold for about 90 minutes. 314-974-0101. Yeah, Chairman Kurt, he texted me to let me know who's on hold. And yeah, I got a Pestis is on hold.
Okay.
We got the drops of the week coming up. We got the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today coming up the morning after at InsideSTL.com. There's your Stiefel dossier. The program's called TMA. It's brought to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN. Well, you're right, Doug. It's Tom's Diner, Suzanne Vega. The question that everybody wants to know is what year?
Well, I don't know the years, Tim.
Did she do Luca?
She did. My Name is Luke. Was that 87? I feel good enough about 87 that I will allocate a fourth of my bankroll to it.
Is this Tom's Diner or Luca?
Oh, come on. We got to do show prep around here.
No, you're asking Tim what year are we talking about?
Huh?
He's asking what song it is, Martin.
You don't know what song this is that you played.
No, this is Tom's Diner.
You're asking if Tim is asking the year on. All right, start over.
Doug, I'm doing
back.
psychedelics.
What is going on
Welcome
this
back.
show?
Hey, it's TMA. Welcome back.
Hello, friends.
Joey comes on, and my
Your
brain
brain
just
is
turns to scrambled eggs.
Hold on. Will this help?
Yeah. I do like a gentleman, heavy breathing. Put
that off. Do you?
Released in 1984 is what I'm seeing for Tom's Diner. And then
Absolutely not.
that,
It's just absolutely not. And now I'm going to, if I can bet that. That's
1987.
There's probably a remix of some semblance.
right.
There's no way that beat was going on in 1984. And now I just moved the entire bankroll in. The whole thing is in.
87? Does that sound more right? So it was released as a single in Europe only in 1987 following the success of her single Luca.
Luca was huge. I have Luca at 87.
So maybe it got brought back
And
to
then
life.
it was a basis for a remix by the British group DNA in 1990.
Yeah, that's a 90s beat.
Okay, all right. So the original song came out in the mid to late 80s, and then a different group remixed it with...
There was kind of that percussion with... Doug, was that a sax? You call it a yakety sax?
I didn't
don't
hear
know.
enough of it to know.
A muted trumpet like the Mills Brothers?
That's nice.
That's an absolute 1990s beat.
Yeah,
Is this true?
Yeah.
You agree
Tom,
with that?
I'm sorry, conversations with ourselves here on TMA. Tom's Diner, the song, is Tom's Restaurant in New York City.
Yeah, it's Seinfeld restaurant.
I didn't know that.
Fun facts for no one tell.
The exterior, yeah.
So the diner later became famous as the location used for the exterior scenes of Monk's Cafe in the sitcom Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what Jackson's onto, there's something about how that song got re-released after Luca was a hit.
Yeah, that's
you
what
might,
it's saying.
you might both be right. Hate to say that.
Yeah, that's
Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong.
It's Teammates 101 on ESPN. We're arguing over Suzanne Vega's songs, which is, I guess, what you expected to hear when you tune into the station.
I wasn't prepared.
Well, we're going to break down last night's big game. I do have some updates.
what do we have?
Do you have time for updates, Tim?
I do. Doug does not.
I'm really busy.
The question was asked, Charlie, we played the drop. I'm a St. Louis 9. What are you currently ranking
This is
yourself?
Charlie Marlowe, who ranked himself as a St. Louis 9.
And I said, what are you currently ranking yourself? Thanks. We'll hang up and listen. He said, haha, same. I'm aging like fine wine.
Nice. Good for him.
So Chuck Marlowe says he's still a 9. A texter brought this up, and I looked into it. Doug, apparently, are you seated?
I am.
There will be a Grown-Ups 3. And
Kevin James is saying
you've
that.
got to be kidding me.
And there's multiple stories in that would come out that is in production, and it'll come out in 2026. So, Doug, yes, there will be a Grown-Ups 3. I don't know if you're prepared for that.
Gosh. It has to be better than 2.
Jackson,
One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Jackson, an update for you. Fugitive Beach. A lot of people conjecture that's what you're talking about. It's in Rolla.
Okay.
And it's called The Fugitive Beach. And it looks a delight, like maybe an old quarry that people go and jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one you were thinking of?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Some people said Johnson Shut-ins, but
No,
this
that wasn't it.
Fugitive Beach is like Ohio State. It's The Fugitive Beach.
I like that.
And then for you Mizzou geeks, did you know that this Jason Crow Jr. is announcing his pick for college?
Oh, Papers does. I guarantee you
At
that.
4:30 this afternoon, live on CBS Sports Network. He would be, if he picked Mizzou, it'd be like their highest player since
MPJ.
Michael Porter.
How do you feel about it, Papish?
I love it.
But
I feel pretty strong that he'll be choosing the black and gold.
Oh, really? There's a floor general. But here's what's interesting. Jason Crow Jr., his dad played overseas for a long time. They said to this point, he has not taken any official visits, despite offers from the likes of Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, UCLA, USC, Villanova, Washington, and several other outlets. He's never publicized his offers. And he is going to make his announcement. This says he's never taken a visit. Isn't that a little odd? And then he would make his announcement. So Mizzou fans are geeked up. That is at 4:30.
You think maybe he's just waiting to hear what they're offering, what kind of money is at each place? Why do you need to visit? Just tell me what you're going to pay me.
I guess that could be in play here. How about that? Never taken an official visit.
John Gruden's burner says Gabe says Crow is a lock for Missouri. Is that accurate? Is that,
I've heard a lot of people yesterday buzzing about this.
I was listening to the Colonel's podcast en route to the station this morning, and they were talking a little bit about it. They were also talking about SEC Media Days, where Gerard Hamilton was. Gabe was down at, what is it called, Jackson? The Peach Days or something like that?
Oh, the Peach Jam.
Peach Jam, that's what it is. Yeah. Is that what your understanding is? A huge Missouri basketball fan?
Yeah, the people that I know who are in the know are very confident in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this would be
I'm not
massive.
saying anything.
Do
This
you
is not
lose your
breaking.
scholarship if he comes to Missouri?
Would you be willing to give it back?
I'd probably have to earn it. I'd have to prove myself why I'm worthy of it, and I will.
How will you do that?
15-foot jumpers, baby.
What?
Yeah, you better believe it.
Tim, 5th ranked in the country. Jason Crow Jr.
How about that?
Thinking about
Tiger.
headed to Como.
The tape on him is pretty awesome.
The tape.
Where is he from?
Inglewood.
The L.A. area.
Okay.
They said he's going to break the California scoring record, which they probably had some pretty good ballers.
Yeah,
Probably,
I mean, you
yeah.
could just name like 100 off the top of your head.
I could probably get to 90.
Also, as I mentioned, they were talking about SEC Media Days yesterday. We played a clip of it in the 10 o'clock hour. But like we said regarding our conversation with Joe Buck, Doug, plenty of the people who listen in the 10 o'clock hour don't get a chance to listen in the 7 o'clock hour, and, of course, vice versa. So Eli Drinkwitz was at the podium, and he was talking about what essentially becomes a 30-team playoff. Now, what Gabe of Power Mizzou was saying with Gerard Hamilton, who covers the football team on Power Mizzou, is that what he was actually advocating for was the SEC to go to an 8-team playoff to determine its 4 bids. That's what he was saying. So if that's the case, because he wants to take it out of the hands of a committee, if that's the case, I like it. It surprises me because then at that point, the SEC, quote, only has 4 teams, which I think they're angling for having more. But I like the idea of it being earned on the field as opposed to, a committee with a, not only is it subjective, but it seems confusing standard for who gets in.
An 8-team playoff, so you'd play
In the
one
SEC.
game, and the winner of that one game would be one of the 4 teams that gets in?
My guess is until a champion is determined, and I guess that adds 3 games, but then maybe you then subtract the non-conference, which would surprise me because then you lose some of these inherent rivalry games that are non-conference in the SEC.
Yeah, be a pretty dramatic shift doing it that way.
But when we played the sound, Martin, I think you might have already gone to onboarding, but I wasn't mocking what he was saying. I just didn't totally follow it. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Here, take a listen, see if you can follow what he's saying.
And now, last year we complained about the committee selections. I mean, we produced all kinds of stats and handed them out about why the SEC was so good. Well, the problem is we have a human committee that has no standard set of structure of how they're going to select. They're all human beings. They all have implicit bias. Until we figure out what exactly the standards are, I don't think that's good. In my viewpoint of it, I think we should go back and try to find more ways to include teams. How do we get more people involved? Because that's better for the players. That's better for the player experience to have more people involved in the potential to play for a championship. And it's better for the fan bases. I think we all would agree that the 4 college football playoff games at home campuses was a huge win for college football. We need to expand that opportunity, that energy and excitement. So my math could be wrong here, but if we did the 12, okay, and you had 4 automatic qualifiers. Everybody thinks that's limiting. It's not limiting if you think about it from, you take those 4 automatic qualifiers and you divide that up into 8 opportunities of 8 play-in games. So now you're taking the SEC's playing in for 8, you're taking the Big Ten's playing in for 8. Since we've expanded the bubble to 16, give 3 to the 3 to the Big 12, 3 to the ACC, 1. Now you've got 30 teams. 30 teams. Now we're talking about an opportunity for 30 teams, 30 fan bases to be excited and engaged in giving revenue. Got 30 teams with players who have access to compete for a championship.
He has an overall thing where he said the playoff should be 30 total, not 12, not 16, but 30.
Right.
And he breaks it down. He said, if you're talking about like the NFL, what percentage makes it into the playoffs? And he said, we're only doing, like 5% or lower. And he said, if you go to 16, 20, he did this whole math breakdown. I think 30 to most people feels a bit much.
Yeah.
I think.
But again, I don't know if he's talking about, like, we think of the playoff right now as 12. It's possibly going to expand to 16. But what Gabe and Gerard were saying on the Power Mizzou podcast is that he's talking about the 8 teams from the SEC having a playoff, and then 4 of those winning that playoff, the 4 seeds, the 4 finalists, get to the SEC spot. So it's not determined by the committee.
But he has another.
But that isn't what that sounded like to me when I heard that. I don't know.
There's another clip where he breaks down why 30 total teams should be in the playoff.
Okay.
And he said it's based on the percentage of how many college football programs there are. He was just saying 12 and 16 is way too small of a percentage based on how many programs there are. And he did the whole math on it and then said it's 30 to him was a reasonable number. That sounds like a lot, though, a lot of games.
He says 44% of the teams in the NFL make the playoffs. We're talking about 10% of college football teams are going to make the playoffs, and we think that's going to keep fan bases encouraged. See, Eli Drinkwitz yesterday.
Well, I guess it would do that. If a team like Missouri was in the playoffs last year, that would have kept the fan base a lot more interested in it all.
Oh, the fan base was engaged. I mean, many believed, I didn't, but many believed that if they beat South Carolina, they'd be in.
But they would be far more engaged if they were a playoff team.
Well, yeah, but the point being the South Carolina game, was it the penultimate game? Was that the penultimate?
I don't like the word. I don't like penultimate. No.
It is the penultimate game.
I know, but I don't like the word.
Unless you count the bowl game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. 30 teams is too many. That's from the 314. Can't do 30 teams. The math doesn't work to get to one champion with an even number of games. That's from the 314.
Yeah. I mean, the percentage thing I get, but with that many, the high volume of total teams. I mean, 361 NCAA Division I men's basketball teams, only 68 make it. That's a lot less than 44% of teams making it. So.
But is he considering these 8 SEC teams playing down for 4 spots part of the 30?
That's what I think the disconnect is, and that's what somebody
there is some confusion here, I think.
That's what I'm saying. I think that he's saying 30 or 32 teams should have a play-in, but then only 15 or 16 teams actually make the playoffs, but he's just calling those games playoffs. So I follow that. And from that standpoint, that intrigues me. That intrigues me, a 30-team playoff.
So would there be any buys, or you're just saying everybody that's in the playoff, you rank them? The top seed plays the bottom seed at home.
Right.
And then they advance. So you could have 32, right? And then 16 would advance. So there'd be a playoff round all on home campuses, and you'd have a chance to advance, I guess.
Would this eliminate the conference championship as it kind of is now, the conference championship games?
I would think that would die.
Reimagined, I guess.
Reimagined.
Don't say reimagined.
No, I liked that.
Okay.
But I would say he didn't articulate that unless I missed it. Maybe it's just how you use the 30 is maybe what I'm missing here, but he was clear that that's his number.
It's getting pretty complicated.
I mean, last year, Mizzou's a good example. Win a big game, you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They didn't.
No. It's hard enough to know who's in what conference anymore. If the conference is... It's just crazy the way it's gone to me.
You like a good UCLA Maryland Big Ten showdown?
I don't like it. No.
Eli Drinkwitz yesterday went after unnecessary roughness on the Twitter tweets, Doug. That is a college football podcast conducted by Barstool. And when they said that he's proposing a 30-team playoff, he said that's not what was proposed or how it was presented. Maybe evaluate the idea before just assuming and making an aggregate headline. On Championship Saturday, each conference has play-in games to the 16-team playoff instead of having a selection committee. That's the idea that happens in December. That's Eli Drinkwitz going back at the unnecessary roughness Barstool podcast.
He did have some material. He had an opening. We did 2 different podium sessions. On one of them, he was serious. I don't know why there were 2 versions, but he was excited that Mike Leach was being considered for the College Hall of Fame. And then the other one is when he had his prepared material. Jackson, is that what you have, is Joke Time with Drink?
Yeah. You want to hear it?
Love to hear
No,
it.
I just wanted to talk about it.
Yes, hit the lever.
With that, I know there's a lot of burning questions in this room by the 14 of y'all that showed up. But just as a reminder, I'm not going to answer any questions about the Epstein files, whether about the radiation belt, and whether or not it was possible for Lee Harvey Oswald to get 3 shots off in 7 seconds. I don't have time to answer all those questions. But I will answer questions about Mizzou football. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Bob Holt was a graduate of the Missouri School of Journalism, and we miss him today, and we think about him often. And so with that, I'll open it up for questions.
I don't think I know who Bob Holt is.
Is he Arkansas?
Yes.
Long-time columnist,
Passed
maybe?
away there.
No.
They covered the game.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
Oh. But he started with his jokes. He's got material. Been saving it up.
He's a jokester.
Epstein files. What was it? The radiation belt and the Lee Harvey Oswald. The
7
14.
shots.
So I guess 14 is a lowly attended media session down there.
I haven't heard much about the radiation belt lately either. Is there something happening there that we need to know about?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
It's a good diversionary tactic.
We got the drops of the week coming up here on TMA. Jackie Papers, how do you feel about them?
Strong.
You're strong.
Strong to quite.
Okay, well, that's coming up in the next segment. It's TMA, presented by Brown & Croup on 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with the Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Back like he never left, 9-time NBA All-Star Damian Lillard has agreed to a 3-year, $42 million contract to return to Rip City in the Portland Trailblazers, sources told ESPN yesterday. Those are their Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Missile gonna fly this year. Cookie burning gonna leave you hurting. Missile gonna fly this year. 12 wins in the playoff is certain. Missile gonna fly this year. Drink out the junk and all the funk. Missile gonna fly this 12 and 0, we beat all the forecasts. Yeah. Oh, we beat all the forecasts. Oh, we beat all the forecasts. Forecast. Missile gonna fly this year.
Oh, Doug.
Is this new?
No, this is the same one we had last year. Cook and Bird are mentioned, neither of which will be at the program this year.
It's TMA 101 ESPN shows presented to you by Brown and Croup, an 8 o'clock hour presented to you by the Fisher Window and Door Store. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you. Little Jackie Papers is DJing here. If you want to call in and be on the program, 314-974-0101. And Chairman Kurt is manning the Collier and Thompson phone lines. But Doug, before we get to our friends on the phone lines, it's time for our drops of the week.
Okay.
Morning after.
Drops of the week.
Yeah, you gotta drop it like a hot dog.
It's a wonderful drop.
Indeed it is.
Flip that off. Flip that off. Flip that off. Flip that off.
Flip that off.
More swaying than sweating.
Why does everybody hate this show?
You have a cuck stool.
If you don't want my chair, that's a problem. Torture to sit through. Torture.
This is so weird talking to you guys.
And then, like, a lot of beads.
A lot of beads.
Where were they?
Oh, you son of a gun.
Who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive?
Doug calls it catting around.
With the fattest ass in all of professional sports.
Thanks, Van. I'm television's own Doug Chandler Hill.
That had nothing to do with his golf game, which sounds like he's doing amazing out of that. So, that's great for him.
Doug, you coming?
Yes.
You got a super girl cousin who shows up in a cape.
Doug, I'll tumble for you.
See, I'm going to try hard not to call you clueless.
People are so dumb.
That was Drops of the Week.
That could be the award winner, Doug. That could be the award winner.
Oh, maybe.
Is trying hard not to call you clueless now a drop in the system?
I think it should be.
Absolutely.
Son of a gun.
See, I'm going to try hard not to call you clueless.
I honestly don't remember who was directed.
I think that was directed at me about how much it bothered him. Still, would you rather be swept or lose in a close series? Because he was on the receiving end of a few surprising sweeps. 2004 Cardinals. I almost feel like the 1990 A's were more surprising because of who the opposition was, Doug, of course, the 1990 Cincinnati Reds. And then, of course, he was managing the Gibson game. What else? I feel like I'm missing an obvious
like
one.
notable losses
that he was managing for. The Gibson one is famous, and then they wound up losing in 5 to a team that they were superior on. I mean, in comparison,
even
to
the World Series they won in Oakland was the Earthquake World Series. It just never felt like a real world. It was weird. It stopped for a while. But in terms of heartbreak, he talks about getting swept by the Red Sox a lot.
Yeah.
That was a weird World Series. It was really weird. It never really got started.
Yeah.
They lost that first game.
Never had a lead. Never had a lead in the entire World Series.
First game like 11-9 or something.
That was the game that if they could have won it, it was a totally different ball game. The guys on that team say that too. Mark Bellhorn, Pesky's Polo. Pesky's Polo.
Sitting in the stands at Fenway with the Red Sox fans chanting "Media sucks."
Oh yeah, yelling at us.
You stole our seats.
It was hard to argue with that too.
Yeah, it was a little
like
awkward.
We didn't belong there.
A little awkward.
The radiation belt that Drinkwitz references is such a deep-cut reference to the fake moon landing conspiracy that it can only mean Eli truly does not believe the moon landing was real. A normal person would not know about the radiation belt, Doug. That is Mr. Licks giving his thoughts on Eli Drinkwitz at SEC Media Days, referencing the radiation belt. I'll be transparent with the audience because this show's called Honesty in Media. I had not heard of the radiation belt.
But if you just don't think about it too much, though, it all makes sense.
So it's either a real indicator that he's a conspiracy guy or that he dug deep for a reference to kind of mess with everybody.
Earth has 2 main radiation belts, known as the Van Allen radiation belts, composed of high-energy electrons and protons. These belts act as a shield, trapping harmful solar and cosmic radiation, but can also pose a risk to satellites and astronauts. That's how I remember it. I wasn't reading that or anything. That's just how I remember it.
We like to read books and talk smart things, too.
Doug, the Happy Little Hunter has posted a 65, and Brian Harmon is your leader through the second round as play continues at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. Oh my, the happy little hunter is being pursued by Hao Tong Lee, who is, what a coincidence, 7 under par through 7 holes.
What's the music?
In the Northern Ireland region. Meanwhile, a leaderboard that features names you might recognize with Matthew Fitzpatrick, Tyrrell Hatton, Rasmus Højgaard, Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre. They are all at 5 under par. Some on the course, some, like Hatton and Højgaard, are enjoying their post-round meals. Hello again, everybody.
Shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie is what they're enjoying.
Oh, God.
What's wrong?
I love shepherd's pie.
Really?
Oh, it's
After
amazing.
playing golf?
That's the perfect time.
Shepherd's pie and a scotch?
Yeah, it's a hearty meal. You just walked 18 holes,
In golf, you're
freezing
supposed to
cold and windy.
You're supposed to just eat a bratwurst playing golf.
Not when you're playing overseas. Win in Rome, Doug. Shepherd's pie is amazing. It's just meat and potatoes.
I know, I don't care for the name of it.
Jackson was awfully silent in response to hearing that text. That's from Mr. Licks.
But the moon landing?
Being fake?
Oh, yeah, because I have a brain in my head.
Well, the moon landing wasn't real. If you believe it was, you're a lowbrow pea brain. That's from Jackson's friend, Sweet Kai. You just attended his wedding in Cape Cod.
You guys are sideways.
Yeah, sometimes we disagree. That's okay, you know? That's what I think is so special about our friendship.
But he called you a lowbrow pea brain.
I hope he's leaning in and not
being real.
Being serial, but you never know.
Marshall Falk, once on the radio with me, discussed this. He is in alliance with Sweet Kai.
Oh, is that right?
And he said, did you see it? And I said, well, and he said, did you see it? About the moon landing. I said, how do you know? How do you know?
Do you see atoms floating around?
No, I've never seen Australia, but I assume it's there.
Right.
Okay. Maybe it's not.
Well, it's possible.
It seems silly.
Well, if you believe the television transmission, we did kind of see it.
Yeah.
If you believe the television.
Sweet Kai has just issued a statement regarding attacking Jackson as being a lowbrow pea brain. I'm dead serious. Sweet Kai. Jackson traveled to Cape Cod for the man's wedding, and now they have been sideways here for the last 48 seconds.
It's well documented.
It's true. This again, but it makes our friendship special. Is that certainly we disagree on some things, but we can always find common ground in our bond together.
Can you?
Yeah, of course.
If it were fake, then why repeat it 6 different times, idiots? We only would have made one mission. That's from the Hoosier Trojan Horse.
Did they do it 6 times? They just did it a couple times, right?
Tom Hank went, but he didn't get to land.
Yeah, they had a problem. I don't know. I think they discovered there's not a lot up there. It's just a dusty rock.
Gary Sinise.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. And then Ed Harris in the control room. I yearn to take my jacket off and lay it down the way Ed Harris does in the control center in Apollo 13.
Okay.
That was like Aura before Aura was a thing.
Wow.
Watch that scene again.
Think about it.
Well, and why would we have faked it? Just to prove that we could do something when we couldn't really do it?
Probably for the rest of the world.
Beat the
Let 'em
Russians?
know.
Right. Detractors, and I want to say again, I am not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Kai is, though.
Would tell you that it was probably something to do with Russia and beating the Russians.
Sharon and Clayton coming to Jackson's defense. You guys have a new alliance. I didn't know about
She's
this.
a la carte with her takes, and I like that.
You like that, Doug? She's a la carte with
I
her
don't
takes.
mind it, yeah.
Don't worry, Piddles. His marriage will blow up in 3 to 5 years, and you'll have the last laugh. Wow.
Not an alliance.
And that's why
Not an alliance.
Sharon and Clayton is the star of The Real Housewives of TMA.
No, I love Sweet Kai and his new wife with all my heart. So I wish nothing but success and love for the two of them. And I disagree, and I want to distance myself from Sharon Clayton's text.
Okay.
Sounds like that alliance is coming to an end, Doug. The program's called TMA. It's presented by Brown & Crouppen, 101 ESPN. Mark Hanna, sponsor of the 9 o'clock hour here on our show. Joey Vitale was with us in the 8 o'clock hour, and he's brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. And we'll have the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today coming up in the 10 o'clock hour on our Stiefel dossier. Martin, what do you know about Seth Goldcamp and Design, Air, Heating, Cooling?
I know you can count on him. And that's a big thing in the HVAC industry. You want a company you can count on. They'll get out to your home and take care of things without trying to sell you something you don't need. And you can count on them to be around next year, the year after that, 10 years later. They've been doing this for more than a century, making sure folks in their St. Louis home are comfortable year-round. So whatever the issue is, if it just stops working, that's a moment of panic. Get to designerservice.com. Or if you just think you need a tune-up, doesn't seem like it's working quite right, the house is a little bit warm, should be cool, have them come out, do a little check, a little tune-up for you at designerservice.com, a company you can count on. Family-owned business. We're talking about a fourth-generation Design Air for all your heating and cooling needs year-round. They're also the longest-running sponsor of TMA. Call them up, set up the appointment, let them know that you want to support a TMA sponsor. It's designerservice.com.
There it is, Design Air. Email in for our Design Air heating and cooling email today, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com. That's coming up at 10:45 on today's program. It is TMA 101 ESPN.
TMA is brought to you by St. Louis-based Stifel, a leading wealth management and investment banking firm. Stifel is the firm where success meets success and has been since 1890. They were founded in downtown St. Louis way back in 1890, same street the company is headquartered on today. They're proud to have called St. Louis home for 135 years. They partner with the Cardinals and the Blues and now the Stifel Charity Classic, and they also sponsor Stifel Theater. Stifel is honored to support the city, the people, and their future with financial advisors in 12 offices across the region. Stifel helps clients right here in St. Louis and nationwide manage their hard-earned wealth. Stifel also provides banking, lending, and trust services and has a full-service investment bank. Basically, when it comes to finance, Stifel has you covered. As one of the fastest-growing wealth management firms in the world, their tagline is where success meets success, so it's no wonder they've decided to partner with a fabulous winning program like this one right here. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE. No.
Nice. It doesn't seem fair, does it?
No.
Doesn't run in your blood, does it, Doug?
No. It's just nice knowing even during the down seasons, the players are in it for the fans and not the money.
That's correct.
That's how we get through the rough times.
Cardinals and Diamondbacks this evening as can I call it the metaphorical second half?
Well, gee, I wish you wouldn't.
Symbolic second half? I think symbolic might be better because they're past the halfway point. But either way, as things get underway in Major League Baseball, the Cardinals will start out in Arizona this evening as they try to get it together in time for a rally in this symbolic second half of the season. As far as your MLB futures and the Cardinals' chances of winning the World Series, Doug, if you want to put $100 on it and they win the World Series, your high school bookie would meet you at the Cracker Barrel off 55 under the Arnold Water Tower, and then he would hand you $8,000 because they are plus 8,000 to win the World Series. The Dodgers plus 210, the Tigers plus 750. Those are your two favorites in the respective leagues.
Okay. Yeah, I'd drive down to Arnold to pick up $8,000.
Yeah.
Sounds like a crime was just agreed to over the air. Next thing you know, Vitale's getting an envelope full of cash.
Now over at the Shack. Cardinals are plus 1,500 to win the National League Central. The Cubs are minus 225. Brewers plus 195. If you think the Pirates are going to win it, you put $100 on it, and then you get $50,000.
Oh, that'd be nice. Brewers have won 7 in a row. They're really on a heater. They probably didn't welcome the break. Wanted to keep going.
Jackson says this in the Stiefel dossier. Let's have the Jordan Walker conversation. Where did things go wrong, and what can the franchise do, and what can Jordan do to shift back into the player we thought he could be? This is a year of player development. What's the next step with Jordan Walker?
I would say what they probably need to do is send him to Memphis and just play until you get it right. He's still a very young guy. And like everyone else coming up through the ranks, it needs 3, 4, sometimes 5 years before they get it right. Apparently, he's that guy. They wanted him to be here quicker, and it just isn't working out. So maybe you do with him what you do with nearly every other player that you draft and sign, is you make him earn it in the minor leagues.
So he had the wrist injury, then he was out because of appendicitis, but no surgery was needed. So they put him down in Springfield. I don't think he's hit a ton in Springfield.
He is not.
Still only 23.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd maybe spend another year or two in the minors before you'd give up on him.
Certainly the rest of this season.
Mm-hmm.
So you say leave him in the minors the rest of this season. But I understand why you're saying that, but the season of runway was to sort of say, what do we got? Let's get these guys out there. So you still don't know what you have.
For sure. And I don't think...
I'm not arguing with you, but I think it is a complicated thing.
But I think putting him up in the big leagues at this moment is not like... What we'll see is not him having runway. I don't think it's beneficial to either the Cardinals or Jordan Walker. But I don't know. But he's gone down to the minors and come back up and not looked all that much better. So maybe Doug's right, like another year. So I don't know.
Last year he spent 84 games in Memphis. This year he's had 54 at-bats, Memphis and Springfield. 2 different injury stints, hitting 185.
And the crazy thing is he was a remarkably better hitter his first year up.
That to me is the key part of this conversation. There's been a regression. And while I do recognize he is young, the player, I believe Jackson asked questions, and I think when we were at the exact halfway point a couple weeks ago when they were 81 games, you revisited the questions you asked us at the start of the season, and I felt like one of them is, what is the player you're most interested in or most important, so to speak, in 2025? And I believe my answer to one of those questions was Jordan Walker, because you kind of got to have an idea going forward. This is now, as crazy as it might sound, his 3rd season with the Major League team. What stands out to me, and maybe it's because I was down in Jupiter in 2023 and went to spring training games, is Jordan Walker, and yes, it was spring training, but for the first, I believe, 3 weeks of spring training in 2023, was the best player in baseball. They couldn't get him out. He was on fire. I happened to be at a game. It was at the Nationals and Astros ballpark in West Palm where the Cardinals were playing, and he slid into second base, and he hurt himself. And I think that was a head-first slide, if I'm not mistaken. And as weird as it is, and I'm not saying that that was the cause and effect, he just wasn't the same player the rest of the way in spring training, and he never regained the form that he had for the first 3 weeks of spring training. So you go from being one of the top prospects in the game, then you get the opportunity to play with a big league club, albeit in spring training. You have an odd injury. Maybe it happened in the sense that it was significant and it was underplayed. Maybe it's completely irrelevant to the conversation. But either way, that is the point in the timeline that I see that he was never the same guy. So in other words, sometimes you have prospects who get a lot of hype attached to them and it never materializes when they play with major league players. Walker didn't necessarily in the regular season, but he did look like one of the best players at a very early point in his career, albeit in spring training games. And then, since then, he's a guy that I think at this point they don't want to put in the lineup because they're just like, he's in over his head. And I just don't know how that has happened. I don't know. I don't know if it's physical. I don't know if it's so mental. He's all twisted. He's lost the swing that allowed him to develop into the player that he was with the hype and then surging in the minor leagues. But this isn't the same guy.
Well, pitchers do get a book on a guy. A lot of them are pretty good. A lot of other teams are pretty good about figuring out what to throw certain hitters that they just can't handle. And maybe that's part of the equation also. But he handled most everything they threw at him in that first year when he had 16 homers, on base of 342, OPS 787. He was a high-quality hitter. And now he looks somewhat helpless up there. Last 2 years, he's at 201 and 210. You can't have that from an outfielder.
Right.
I think a texter today, maybe the same people as yesterday, but they've said, why not bring in Big Mac to work with them? And I think they're being serious. A lot of the talk at the LaRusse event was how Mark McGwire had great success with Alan Craig, but also David Freese specifically in that October run after a horrible series against the Phillies. McGwire advocated to keep him in the lineup, paid off, obviously, against the Brewers and then the Rangers. If I'm the Cardinals and this is this highly touted prospect, I know they hate the idea of going outside. Jim Edmonds got sideways with the Cardinals in part because they didn't like him hitting with players. I think at this point you do anything you can to try and fix the guy. Why not? Why not reach out and say, Mark, would you mind? We'll send you to Memphis for a week. Work with the kid. I mean, I think you'd try anything at this point because whatever they're doing or he's doing combined doesn't seem to be working to get the results you're looking for.
Tim, the first 3 weeks of spring training are as pointless as my life is.
Oh, gosh. He's a little down on himself.
Wow.
Yeah. The problem is so much was invested in those first 3 months of his spring training in 2022. That's from the 314.
I'm putting in my questions for Chaim Bloom whenever we have him on.
Yeah, keep adding to that. It's way down you got to do a deep dossier dive.
What's the plan of action with Jordan Walker going forward?
Okay. Or just say to Chaim, is it time to have the Jordan Walker conversation?
I like that.
That's how.
I also have here. What are your thoughts on the Navy road caps, Mr. Bloom?
Mr. Bloom. Wasn't Bill Murray's character in Rushmore Bloom?
Sounds
Mr.
right.
Bloom?
I did just watch it recently. I should know.
You would think somewhere in the Cardinal organization they have a hitting coach that could figure out what he's doing wrong and what he needs to do to correct that.
Right.
I mean, there's people who that's their living. That's what they do all the time. Somebody in that system has got to be able to look at this guy with all the physical tools you could possibly want and say, you need to try this or you need to stop doing that.
Right.
That's what they're there for, is to fix players just like this. But it hadn't happened.
Jordan Walker and the Cardinals are at a point where I wonder if they would go, okay, we just got to move on, and he's got to move on. And it's better for both of us because it just doesn't happen, and it hasn't happened. And it's such a shame because I thought that this could be a great thing for the organization to have him be the next face of the franchise. But I would wonder internally if they're thinking about moving on from him.
Well, it might be a year or two early for that. Because a lot of guys never get to the major leagues before they're 23 years old. So they may want to ride it out another year in the minors to see if he can figure it out.
I feel like unsaid is next year's another kind of wasted year, and you can probably kind of roll out the same crew next year and say, well, you liked Runway 1? How about Runway 2? It's the sequel. Runway the sequel. Here we go. We're going to see if Gorman plays every day, except Arnado's still here. We'll try and trade him like we did, last year. And then we'll bring Jordan Walker. We just need him to get healthy and to clear his head during this offseason. Then we'll see what he can do next year.
Lisa, who was, what is she, a gem?
She is a gem, yeah.
She says, you all understand they are tone deaf and arrogant, right? Martin, you heard the underlying tone with the current team on Wednesday. That's from Lisa. Is that in reference to the Tony La Russa event?
Well, at that event, yes. First of all, I know Lisa loved it when Joe acknowledged Skip Schumacher was in the audience, and Joe said, Skip, come home. I could hear Lisa cheering from across the theater. But there was a theme, I would say, when it was Edmonds, La Russa, Freeze was up there, but he wasn't taking shots. But Joe said to Tony and Edmonds, boy, I love that era when they were aggressive and you guys could call for help. And there was when they were saluting Walt Jocketty, like it was a different era. There was definitely a tone that the current regime is not quite getting it done.
Martin, if you ever wondered if my father is not a fan of your impression of him, I think we have confirmation right now that he is not a listener to the program. He's calling me.
Oh, is he really?
But you've only been doing the show, Tim, like what, a couple months?
Pocket dial, maybe?
2004.
Hey, Mitch, I don't know what you got going on right now. Just
you got dentures now?
Why don't you take the call? Take the call.
His jowls were moving there.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
It's Dad. I just, I like the Cardinals at plus 200. Sonny Gray, the game on Saturday is on.
Plus 200, I'll take the Vipers on that.
They're on the 2 Fox on Saturday night, and then Miles Michaelis, because he's better now, will pitch Sunday. How about that?
Love it.
I'm waiting for this. So the Fetty start would appear to be happening at Coors Field.
Oh, perfect.
So there you go.
Yes.
Look for that.
Why do you think they wouldn't start Sonny Gray tonight? I mean, he's had plenty of rest. Why wouldn't you get your best pitcher right at the beginning, and maybe it'll pay off with an extra start at the end?
Doug, they probably flew into Arizona on Thursday, and he needs to kind of get the routine going. So he needs today to do the routine.
Okay.
I'm making it up, but I feel like it's also possible.
I think around baseball, you'll see that most teams have their ace going tonight.
Looking around, I got the baseball probable pitchers up. I mean, it's tough because he threw in the All-Star game, but Skeens is not pitching for the Pirates. I would not say the
Pirates
ace.
are saving him for the deadline.
Verlander's starting for the Giants. He's 0-7.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
You almost forget he's on the Giants.
Cease is pitching. Alcantara's pitching. Okay, so there's some aces
Maybe
out there
not,
for sure.
yeah. That's the way they used to do
Chuck
it.
Morton pitching. Boy, Charlie Morton and Justin Verlander pitching in the same night. What a time to be alive.
Wouldn't you want your best guy to pitch at the start after everybody's rested? You might get an extra start out of it at the end of the year. I guess not.
Let's tell you.
Want to stay in rotation.
The response you got is I don't know what to tell you.
Want to take a guess on the temperature tonight in Phoenix?
Tonight or right now?
108.
A little lower than that. It is going to be 104.
Okay, dry heat.
My wife and I are going to Vegas, at least planning on it here in a couple weekends. And we were looking at the temperature, and it was 112.
Oh, gosh.
And she goes, why did we book this then? I go, I don't know. We just kind of wanted to go, and we had the family trips, and we went out our time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll call an audible on go somewhere else.
Maybe go to that Fugitive Lake. It's just right down the road.
I've been to the Scottsdale area in August, early August at that. And it was 114 degrees, and it feels like your skin is melting off the bone.
That happens in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Am I right on that?
I think so.
The
I always found
it
a little odd that it gets so darn hot in Vegas, like 112, and yet it's still kind of cold in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
The Hawk is up, too, with a stiff breeze, bro.
Yeah, the desert is a fascinating biome.
Don't ever say biome.
That's exactly what it is. It's a biome.
Doug, I do have a Sonny Gray theory, and it's a serious one. I think if he pitches Saturday, then he lines up to be the game one starter here against the Padres, a tougher opponent than the Rockies.
And a wild card opponent.
Yeah, and so instead of rolling him out against the Rockies next Wednesday, which Palante could do, unless they're in a six-man rotation, which they aren't. I don't. It's like an argument that they have conveniently when they need to have a six-man rotation. But anyway, I think Sonny Gray would pitch next Thursday at home against the Padres.
Maybe
so
that's it.
We were upset the way they didn't quite get it to work against the Cubs. 7 games where he didn't pitch one of them. I think they're doing this so he pitches against.
Look at my father, a little pitching coach.
Is
in him.
he calling in?
Said
He's calling in?
No, but he said that the Cardinals don't want Sonny pitching in Colorado because his sweeper won't sweep there.
Okay.
And maybe Jeff Burkett, who's
so
a
either
delight.
to avoid Colorado
What
or
about
to
the other
line
pitchers?
up for the Padres.
Does that mean the other pitchers, their stuff doesn't
I don't know
count?
if they feature the sweeper as much as Sonny Gray does.
Do you think behind closed doors they say, well, Fetty's getting rocked either way, so
Might as well
let's
do
make
it out here. Tim, join us in Maine for the first week of August trip that we're taking. That's from Harrison Ford's Tears. You would have to assume she's, what do you think, 24 and pursuing a graduate degree at Ole Miss? I would assume that's Harrison Ford's Tears.
Ruin me.
Oh, was that her?
We got a super girl cousin who shows up in a cape.
It's my favorite. It's my new favorite.
Girl
Super
cousin.
girl cousin.
Shows up. I heard that and wondered, what does that
Super
mean?
girl cousin. It's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We're down to, what, 4 cuts left of Big Mike's reviews?
Yeah.
Just not happy with the picture, Martin.
Tim, did you see in the dossier that Movie Boy podcast is about to debut?
I wanted to let Papers make the announcement a couple days ago. We were sitting in the old TMA studio. Doug, we call that HD2 country.
Yeah.
And Papers said to me, what do you think of this idea? Tommy Mattern, the head of programming here, official title, director of operations, I believe, wanted to do something in a...
Yeah, just like an extra Saturday, whether it's a best of or something.
On the HD2?
No, on the TMA
On the
STL
TMA
podcast.
podcast, right.
The
TMA
actual
podcast, because I knew it
feed.
wasn't on 101.
Right.
And Jackson said, what do you think of this idea? And tell the people what the idea is.
So the idea, what I'm going to do it'll be the next couple weeks on the TMA STL podcast feed.
This is for little Judy Suckins.
Okay.
This is just
who calls Jackson Dawson's Creek. Doug, that's a reference to James Vanderbeek's character in the film, or in the show, being obsessed with film.
Yeah, so every on Saturdays for probably till the end of the month of July, and then we'll see where we go from there. It'll be
It's a good long runway.
Well, this is just to get it rolling, and then we'll go from there. But it's called Movie Boy, and it's a podcast where I talk movies.
And he's doing it Han Solo, Martin.
This first week is Han Solo. I would bet the next week's podcast will have some other people hop in.
Such as?
Friends of mine, friends of yours.
Gene Shalit?
I don't know about that. I don't want to give
James
away too
Gunn.
much.
Rex Reed.
I'd love to get James Gunn on. But yeah, so it's going to be. I'm giving it the old college try. We're gonna see how it goes.
Army Archers.
So you'll see it on Saturday morning. You'll see, and if you're subscribed to TMASTL podcast, you'll
Richard
see.
Roper. This is going to be a YouTube thing.
No, not on YouTube.
When you said see it,
you'll see it in the podcast feed pop up. Where usually you wouldn't see anything on Saturday pop up. You'll see Movie Boy. And for the first week, a little intro. I'm talking about the movie F1, which I saw this week. Movie 28 Years Later, zombie movie. And then a little mailbag at the end of it.
Well, mailbag. I actually think this is a proper vehicle for you. As much as you love cinema.
Thank you.
I love it. It's like a passion project.
And
good for you.
Your knowledge of the film industry is crazy. So I think this is a perfect. I'll listen.
Oh, and it's going to sound probably, it'll get better as I get some more experience doing it. But you never know if you don't try.
No, you sure
Got to
don't.
put pucks on net, Doug.
So
When
we're
does
going to
it
give it a
drop?
shot. Saturday morning, you'll see it. Saturday morning.
So
will be
this Saturday, like tomorrow?
Yep, tomorrow morning.
Woo!
And what do? I go to the TMA.
If you're already subscribed to the TMA STL podcast, you can go to the TMA STL app as well. And if you're subscribed to that podcast, it'll just pop up for you.
Even though I'm on this show and I'm new, I go to the TMA app all the time, and it always asks me to sign up, and I'm always like, no. Like I'm on the show.
You are not eligible to get any rewards.
Would like to send you notifications, like not now.
How about this?
Maybe later.
Martin Steven Time, who I think is one of your nemesis. I know Kwame Voyukis IV is, says, but usually not necessarily positive. Says, congrats, Jackson. Well deserved, and I know you'll kill it. How about
Thanks,
Steven Time?
Steven Time. Thank you.
Look at that. Now, the next text, unfortunately, is from Mr. Siders.
Oh, what's he say?
And he says, you could not pay me enough money to listen to that podcast. And that's a guy Jackson played 18 holes against in the TMA Fan Page Club Championship. Was that last year, Doug? I know you go out and watch those matches.
I don't really.
And he's been critical of Jackson's 7-iron distance, and now he's critical of this podcast venture. And I would just say, well, then, Mr. Siders, don't worry about it. You don't have to listen.
Exactly, and that's fine. Hey, listen, it's not going to be for everybody. It's pretty nerdy. It's pretty, but it's going to be fun, and I'm excited to see. I want to get other people involved in it, bring people on, movie by movie, topic by topic. I think it's a kind of a fun outlet, and like I said, if you don't want to listen to it, you don't have to. If you like it, keep on listening.
How long will this podcast go, boy?
This first one's going to be about 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Wow.
Talking
Just
about
by
F1.
yourself.
That's as long as
very
the movie.
QFTA of you.
It's about 9. I was planning on going 30 minutes with the movie 28 Years Later, 30 minutes with F1, and then like a 15-minute mailbag thing.
You could talk 30 minutes about one movie?
I went 48 minutes with F1. I had a lot of thoughts.
And you're just sitting there by yourself talking to the mic?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's pretty deranged.
What is there to discuss for 40 minutes about one movie?
Oh, so much. You know, Apple invested a lot of money into this movie. I think I should give it its credence and give it a runway. Hashtag it.
Stephen Time says it's incredibly wise to start building something for yourself to run parallel to the success of TMA. I'll be a listener. Look at Stephen Time.
Thank you, Stephen Time. Yeah, I have a passion for it, and I want to do it. And I've wanted to do it for a while now, and this seems like a prime opportunity, so we're going to give it a shot.
Maybe you can get a popcorn sponsor.
That'd be great. I don't really like popcorn, but
that's going to be tough to do the endorsement.
Nerd that doesn't like popcorn?
It's just bone dry. It's bone dry.
Soak it in butter, fat.
Yeah, but that butter is touch and go. When you
butter is touch and go.
I don't even know what that
working
means.
in a movie theater, when you have to change the butter and that
and it looks
butter
so good.
you won't get a grip on something for a week afterwards. You are
Can't get it off your
slick like
hands?
a seal.
Yeah, that's why you use a water-based lube.
It's unbelievable. My
sliding out of the parking
There's
lot.
not enough laundry detergent to get that out of your pants. It's brutal. Oh, it's
so much
impossible.
support coming in. I mean, for every one Mr. Siders, there's like 20 supportive texts.
It's really
that's
awesome.
That's not the brand of the Air Comfort Service text inbox. I'm actually looking forward to this as someone who loves cinema too. That's from Little Beer Cats. Then you have Mr. Licks, Movie Boys Podcast, the only place where a man can cry over Wes Anderson's color palette and still look you in the eye and say, "Ball don't lie." That's from Mr. Licks.
I might use that as a promo. That's great. That's free promo right there. I love it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna
So
give it a
you've
shot.
already recorded the first one, clearly.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
First one's ready to rock.
Minute Bowl eligible would like you to rate all of the Wes Anderson films from pretentious to most pretentious.
So that's the thing is I missed the boat on Phoenician Scheme coming out. That would have been a prime time to talk
You
about
could
it.
probably go back since our audience didn't really miss it the first time.
You're right. You're right. I can always go back. It'll be fun. I'll probably invite you boys at one point or another, depending on the movie. Come on, have a conversation. Have some of my friends who love movies. I want to talk to them. Gareth.
Gareth's going to be on?
At one point, I assume, yeah.
Will you break down Grown Ups 2?
Maybe if Grown Ups 3 actually comes out, we can do a retrospective.
Oh.
Man, I like this, and it's called Movie Boy.
Movie Boy.
I can't wait. I'll be listening.
It's going to be fun.
What will you be wearing?
Well, it's going to be an audio only to get to start. But I guess theater of the mind. You can imagine me whatever you'd like.
Oh gosh.
Doug John Scores in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat says, sometimes I stop by the theater just to get popcorn.
And pay $15 for it? That's not a good move.
Didn't Abelin say that was a thing at Frontenac? People would come by just to buy the popcorn.
Because the popcorn's so good at Frontenac, or was, I should
And now
say.
that one's closed?
Well, at Frontenac, you didn't necessarily have to buy a movie ticket to get in to buy something at the concession stand.
Right. I'd be like, I really like the coffee at the airport, so I buy a plane ticket so I can go in.
I don't know if Mr. Licks has been given an advanced copy of the first
Movie Boy?
episode of Movie Boy, but he says somewhere between minute 41 and minute 56, I assume he breaks into tears over how Christopher Nolan, quote, gave time a texture, end quote. That's from Mr. Licks.
No, I'm trying to stay away from super pretentious. You know, I'm not a movie critic. This is not a movie critic podcast. We're just kind of hanging out, talking movies. That's one of my favorite things to do with my friends.
So it's less of a rating system, more of a discussion, conversation.
No, the first one's a discussion with myself. But
but at the end, do you give it, 5 raisinets or whatever? You don't do a thing at the end?
It's a good or bad scale. I don't mind a raisinette, by the way. It's kind of a fun...
Jackson, will you take requests on movies to review? That's from Katie Woo's burner. I didn't know she had a burner.
Sure. I'm going to try to balance as best I can stuff that's coming out with older stuff and then more macro topics on top of that. I'm doing a lot of work in my head about this.
Okay.
So you built yourself quite a large biome.
Yes.
Yes, nice.
This is going to be my biome.
Okay.
It's another good promo.
I think James Carlton should be a sponsor on this Movie Boy podcast. He was one of the first sponsors on the Tim McKernan Show podcast. And you can always send in questions for QFTA, questions from the audience, tmckernan at InsideSTL.com. James came up to me, Doug, at a cocktail lounge in 2017. That's where I meet my men. And he said, hey, I want to sponsor the podcast. I said, God bless America. Within 18 months, I was a James Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency client. Let me make this crystal clear. I wasn't doing it because he was an advertiser. I was doing it because I got to know him, started working with him on an emergency, and go, oh my God, this guy's operating at a different level with his customer service. It is a totally different experience now that I have been a James Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency client, and I recommend that you give them a call at 314-961-4800 or online at carltoninsurance.net. That's James Carlton, the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, online at carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton State Farm. This TMA 101 ESPN. Nice. Oh, my.
This is not the Gloria I remember.
This is Laura Branigan.
This is the remastered version.
That's correct. It's like the Tom's Diner thing we were talking about. TMA 101 ESPN. Mark Hanna sponsor the 9 o'clock hour here on the show. He's online at evergreenstl.com. You can watch the program, youtube.com/TMASTL, where friends have gathered like Bach Hogg and Paulie Barodi and Ken Iggy Strode. They're in there talking it over. And Lex Luthor wants to know if I'm going to Las Vegas for the Canelo versus Crawford fight. I am not.
Oh, you're not.
I am going there to get intoxicated, gamble, golf, and ideally have some girl-girl activity, to be real candid with everybody. That's my Mount Rushmore of things that I'm looking for in Las Vegas.
And what do you think the odds are of that happening?
I've been on an aggressive pursuit of it for decades, and it is as dry as the desert, but that doesn't mean we don't continue to try, and I think that's what makes me an inspiration and a mentor for many in the community.
Certainly to me. Are you going to try to hit the Sphere while you're out there?
I think Backstreet Boys is playing at the Sphere
Oh,
while I'm
so
out
perfect.
there. Yeah, you're exactly right, Martin. To see Nick Carter play, wow.
Boy,
I like Howie, too.
I'm curious what the visuals will be in the Sphere for the Backstreet Boys
I have
show.
some pictures of it. I can show you. I heard it was phenomenal.
Really?
Doug, you want to go to Backstreet Boys?
This is coming from an NSYNC guy, but I heard Backstreet Boys put on a great show.
Do they? Sure, I'd go.
Oh, Martin, look at that.
I just want to go to the
What's
Sphere.
the cost to get into the Sphere?
I'll find out for you right now. Doug.
Probably not a good deal.
The person that I know that went to the Backstreet Boys had some great seats for, I think they paid about $200.
Well, that's not horrible.
All right.
That's not bad at all.
Just Venmo me your 200 and we'll be square, and we'll look for girl.
Oh. Would it be kind of weird if I just showed up at the Sphere for Backstreet Boys by myself?
No, I think it'd be
Jackson's
awesome.
doing the podcast by himself.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you argue with yourself on the podcast?
Try not to. Probably times where I
That's
do.
when you say it kind of a lull in the podcast and you're kind of staring around the empty studio and you say, yeah, I know a lot of people say Spielberg sucks, but I'm going to defend him.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and defend Steven Spielberg and his work. And then you have this huge argument with yourself.
That's right. That's right. That's not a bad idea.
And listeners say, nobody says Spielberg sucks. But you just have this huge argument.
Yeah, you straw man it. Straw man it all day long. Mark Milton's not a straw man, is he, Doug?
No, but if the IRS comes looking for a straw man that maybe filed a wrong tax return for you, he'll sniff it out because he can take care of you. He can defend you against the godforsaken tax man. If you have years of unfiled tax returns or tax liens, bank levies, wage garnishments, you name it, could be keeping you up at night or worse, facing IRS criminal investigation, you could have a serious problem. Mark Milton has all kinds of experience dealing with that. He started his legal career with the Department of Justice Tax Division in Washington, D.C., where he represented the IRS in tax cases around the country and received the DOJ's Outstanding Trial Attorney Award. This is truly one of the best in the country at what he does. And now he lives and works right here in St. Louis, helping individuals and small businesses solve their tax problems. So if you have any kind of IRS issue, contact Mark Milton at stltaxlawyer.com today, and you'll be saying, I am not guilty, I am with Milty. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
There it is, Doug, an update from overseas in Northern Ireland, where the happy little hunter is in at 8 under, and he is currently your leader, but the conditions have been conducive to scoring. But as you know, the weather volatile in this part of the world.
Where's
but
the music coming from?
Oh my,
It just
is
appears.
Matthew Fitzpatrick going to make a run? He is just 2 back through 4 in his second round. And look, it's the Scotsman, Robert McIntyre, who is just 3 back after posting a 66 this morning. And why, look, it's the angry Englishman, Tyrrell Hatton.
He's angry?
Yes, he is, who is also just 3 back of the lead. But is Scotty Scheffler's rise to yet another major inevitable? Scotty Scheffler still the odds-on favorite to win, and he hasn't even hit the golf course yet for his second round, where he is 5 back of the leader. Doug, this is the 2025 Open. And in celebrating it, here is Chris Mad Dog Russo, who's not happy with British Airways for losing his son's golf clubs.
Oh, I don't blame him.
My son flew from Phoenix to Dallas all the way to London. All right? He had 2 bags. He had to go to Inverness, an hour and a half south of Dornoch. He had a golf tag, one of those golf things that you can find your father. He had his clothes made it. His golf bag didn't. So he tells me I'm at Heathrow waiting for my connection. He texts me, Dad, my golf clubs didn't make it. We're playing Saturday morning. This is Friday afternoon. What do you mean your golf clubs didn't make it, Tim? Your other bag, they didn't make it. It was an oversized bag. You know, it took me 2.5 hours to locate the clubs at Heathrow. And you know where they were? My son needs the golf clubs, for crying out loud. They wouldn't let me take the clubs out of Heathrow. So Timmy's clubs had to stay in Heathrow overnight. Oh, no. And he didn't have his golf clubs on Saturday because British Airways, couldn't find them and wouldn't give it to his father to take the clubs up. Here's their answer. It's protocol, sir. I am not interested in protocol. I'm interested in the 5-iron. I am not interested in that. And they called the police on me. Whoa. I'm a loud American. We're going to get the authorities. I don't give a crap about authorities. Get the golf clubs where they're supposed to be. Oh, God.
He just starts out screaming. Is that the way he always talks, or is that just part of the act?
Probably part of the act. It's really awkward because that's on first take, and so there's 3 other grown adults standing there.
Well, he rants about his son's golf clubs in London.
Watching the elder statesman in the room scream until his voice is hoarse.
Wouldn't it just be a lot easier to rent clubs rather than travel all the way around the country, around the world with them?
Tell me you're not a ball striker without telling me you're not a ball striker.
I don't want to deal with all that stuff. I just want to play when I get there and not deal with it.
If you're going to Florida or something, like somewhere like that, like they probably have rentals. I don't know what it's like over there, on the other side of the
If
pond.
Jackson has to carry 145 yards, you want him to use a rental 7-iron?
Yeah, geez, boy.
Well, when I rented clubs down there in
5-iron
Jamaica,
for 160.
In Jamaica, that resort, that sandwich resort,
that was crazy.
The clubs are better than anything I'd ever played with in my life.
Yeah. Me and Tim wore the dunce cap on that one. They were like peeling the seal off of the irons. Like literally, they had never been used before.
Oh yeah, they were great clubs.
Yeah.
It
Brandon,
does
Scotty,
seem that
Cameron.
Russo's recent rants have all been about his son, whether he can't get him a guest on sports radio, his son's golf club. So when in doubt, I think he goes the son route.
Yeah, he's not happy with the Mets for not getting his son a guest when he broadcast from, where was he doing? Port St. Lucie for spring training, right?
You mean to tell me that Jose Buto can't come on?
I apologize. Scotty Scheffler is on the course. He birdied the first hole, parred the second. He is 4 under and 4 back. And Doug, it feels inevitable.
Really? You think he's going to win it, Dave?
Yeah, I can't. The number right now for him winning, it isn't kind of worth it. But if the conditions hold, he's plus 200, and yet he's 4 off the lead. He is the favorite to win. Brian Harmon, the leader, at plus 600 for the record. Email in for our design, air, heating, and cooling email today. It's coming your way here at about 10:45. Then we'll have BK and Ferrario taking over at 11 o'clock. The program is called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals back in action this evening, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's going to be a 8:40 p.m. start out there in Phoenix with Andre Palante towing the slab for the Redbirds. That was another Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Nice. You like this, Doug?
Is this Babs Streisand?
This is from the second scene in Yentl.
Is it? Yeah, I thought so. I thought I recognized it.
No, that was Bad Girl Riri.
Say it again?
Rihanna.
Oh, okay.
Doug, we let off the Marquand Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour with the Jordan Walker question as it was listed in the Stiefel dossier by Jackson Burkett, who's now doing business as Little Jackie Papers, or LJP if you don't have the time, and Katie Wu from the Twitter tweets. The Cardinals will activate Jordan Walker off the IL today. Thomas Jacey has been optioned to Memphis. Walker was reaching the max amount of days allowed on a rehab assignment, 20 days. So Jordan Walker back.
He's back.
There's your daily Katie Wu Cardinal transaction update.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the Cardinals put out the release later today, it will say as first reported by Katie Wu. The Cardinals' official release. Katie Wu on it first.
So you think he'll be in the lineup? Maybe.
I think you got to play him more times than not. But now walk through it, Doug. If Herrera's the DH, Contreras is at first, where you got Burley the bat? You got him out in left? Because I got Walker in right. That means Donovan's at second, so
Either Burley or
Gorman's
Gorman's on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't think he can take Burleson out.
Okay.
I guess you could take... you could probably put Newtbar in center. Well, he's hurt, though, isn't he? I would think if they're all
off and just play it every once in a while.
If they're all healthy, you could put Newtbar in center and Burleson in left, I guess, and try to get a little bit more offense in there.
My coworker Lexi, who never pays attention to this show despite it playing all morning, just said, "What a banger. Great job, Jackson." That's from the 314.
Happy to.
And there's just another example of how popular this show is with young ladies throughout the St. Louis area.
And just by hearing that song for 10 seconds now, we've developed a new listener?
Yep, that's correct.
They do it. Yeah. Teasing and bangers. That's how you get it.
That could be the name of the program.
Banging teases.
That's how you get a new audience. Let's see.
314 is not happy with Martin for saying more times than not. If Martin says more times than not again, I'm going to lose my S. I have to tell you, I don't notice that. Does anybody else notice
No, I haven't noticed it.
Maybe it's a today thing.
But we're all about to lose our S.
Yeah, well, it's possible, Tim, that today I've said it more times than not.
Nice.
It's possible.
Nice.
I used to say "not gonna lie," and John Carney would get upset. He'd say, "Oh, stop saying that." Does that mean you lie the rest of the time? And I'm like, that's a good point. If you say "not gonna lie," then the rest.
Being
of
honest.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
I hate when people say, "Here's my opinion." Well, who else is it? To your point, and actually to my point.
Yeah.
Sup, Lexi? That's from Rusty Pecker, Doug. And it sounds like the guys are now treating this like Napoli.
The girl who liked the song, they're hitting on her now.
You were hot, weren't you?
Darn right I was.
I like that one.
That's a new
You
intro.
were hot, weren't you?
Darn right I was.
I mean, some of these drops have collected dust on them. They're so old, but that one is fresh.
I get a lot of people tell me all the time they love that Shania, you singing Shania.
I don't remember why we were. I think everybody's kind of into it. Everybody has they chime in, they hum along.
Yeah,
with
do you
the
have a
song.
karaoke song?
Well, in Macomb, with all the media folks,
Howard Balzer would enjoy that more than anybody.
Howard Balzer really enjoyed kind of that lounge vibe, and they had a karaoke bar in Macomb, and the assembled media, a bunch of dorks, myself included, would be like, hey, who's singing tonight? R.B. Fallstrom, Jim Holder. It was like a whole thing. And I said, I'm not interested in doing it. I just don't want to. And they finally talked me into doing it. So I said, yeah, I'll do C.W. McCall's Convoy. Well, it's not really karaoke friendly.
There's certain songs like that.
Oh, Rubber Duck. And so I did a whole, and they said, okay, you don't have to do that. That was the end of it. Play a little C.W. McCall Convoy, and you'll realize it's not good for karaoke.
My neck was hurting. So I said, I think I'm going to go sing somewhere.
It was all one sentence, too. That wasn't cut together from two different moments.
That was his treatment plan.
Next time a Cardinal player has a neck injury. Would you have him go sing for a while?
That would have been a good Ask Tony question.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Really loosen vocal cords and release the whole neck vibe. That was actually a made-up question. You gave a real answer.
A friend of the show, Jeff Passan, has just posted his preview for the second half and ranks teams by their tiers. There is the Big Six. Doug, name the Big Six.
In all of baseball?
Yep.
Not just the National. The Big Six would be the Dodgers.
Nice one.
Yankees. Tigers. Did you say the Big Six, Tim?
Yep.
Cubs.
Yep.
Phillies. Mets.
I have to tell you, I'm a little surprised by this. But the New York Yankees are not in there. It's the Tigers, Dodgers, Cubs, Astros, and Phillies and Mets. The Yankees are at the top of the Tier 2 established contenders, along with the Brewers, who, of course, as Martin was referencing earlier on in our 9 o'clock hour, are on an absolute heater and have 86.8% odds to make the playoffs. Also, the Blue Jays, who have been on a charge of their own. And then Tier 3, firmly in the mix, you will find the Mariners, the Boston Red Sox, the Tampa Bay Rays, the San Diego Padres, the San Francisco Giants, and your St. Louis Baseball Cardinals, with playoff odds of 27.9% and a projected final record of 84-78.
So we're a Tier 3 squad?
That's right.
Is there a Tier 4?
There absolutely is.
Rockies, Marlins, Sox.
No, you're...
Am I one ahead?
There's actually...
there's another tier.
There's another tier. That's the disappointments. That's Tier 5. The Braves, the Orioles, the Marlins, the Pirates, the A's, the Nationals, the White Sox. And then there's one special tier for our friends in Denver. And that's called Rock Bottom, which, of course, was Dwayne Johnson's finishing move, Doug. Oh, and when he would get ready to do the Rock Bottom.
What was that?
People's Elbow. Forget about it. That place was up for snatch grabs. Okay.
Well, the Rockies had to feel pretty good starting the second half. Just 52 games under 500. 35 and a half out. It has to be a record, right?
Where it all went wrong. Well, everywhere. It goes all the way back to the beginning with the circumstances of playing baseball at my high altitude. I mean, he's taking it back to the inception of the franchise and encompasses the franchise's entire history, which is marked by an insular approach that has sapped innovation for a team that desperately needs it. But let's keep the focus on this year. The Rockies went into the All-Star break with a Major League high 5.56 ERA, a 27th ranked 668 OPS, and minus 19 outs above average, third worst in the sport. In other words, they have been dreadful on the mound, in the batter's box, and on defense. It really is that simple. There you go.
Yeah, I'll buy the bad players ahead of the altitude because they've had successful years there. They've
2007 National League pennant. Yeah. Matt Holliday was on that team.
They've had teams that have proven that you can win there. They're not winning anywhere else.
It is tough, though, if you don't develop the pitching to get great pitching to come and play there.
You need swing and miss stuff. You need a bunch of strikeout pitchers, for sure.
They've had a lot of great players.
Offensively.
Right.
Mike Hampton, Denny Nagel.
They've tried a lot of pitchers out there, yeah. Rockies, all-time leaders. Doug, did I say the Rockies all-time
felt like it,
leader in home runs for the Colorado Rockies?
While playing in Colorado?
Yeah, I think these are just Colorado numbers. If I'm looking at it.
Todd Helton.
Yeah, I think I would go Todd Helton, too.
You guys are both correct. And by pretty good distance. Number 2, maybe a friend of the show at one time, kind of.
Oh, wow. Now so it's not Holiday.
Not Larry Bigby.
Larry Walker?
Larry Walker.
Yeah. Okay.
Larry Walker.
Larry Bigby.
Nolan Arenado is still 4th on the Rockies all time. Carlos Gonzalez is 5th.
Oh, yeah.
Dante Bichette down on that list. Troy Tulowitzki.
Vinny Castilla's got to be live.
Yep, good call. Vinny Castilla was number 3. I was
Dante
jumping
Bichette
around.
in there?
Number 7, Charlie Blackmon with the big beard at number 6, although he's tied with Cargo. Trevor Story.
Charlie Blackmon.
Charlie Blackmon.
What's going on?
Big beard.
It's like I'm in a
Tim, are you?
Merrimack Caffrey's.
We're thinking while you're throwing out.
I was going to do a sketch in a bit.
Oh, gosh. Save it
Can I expect that on Movie Boy?
No bits.
Sketches and bits.
No bits.
Todd Helton on that list?
Let me see here. Ellis Burks is 14.
There have been some offensive guys who've made a ton of money by being able to play out there, putting up outrageous numbers.
Oh, Todd Helton is number 1, Doug. How about that? How about that?
Martin, it's 10:03. Your work here is done. I know you got meetings for onboarding, but other than that, let the weekend begin and let the vacation begin.
I'm
Martin
officiating
Kilcoyne.
a wedding, Doug. I got a wedding tomorrow. I'm officiating
wedding?
a college buddy in Milwaukee. Not the first go around at the matrimony thing, so it's a little lighter with the officiating, which makes it a little less stressful.
Yeah.
We'll be in Milwaukee for
Is
the
this just
weekend,
number 2, or is he really diversified his portfolio?
I think, full disclosure, I think he's 3, she's 2.
Okay.
So I said, should I reference that in any fun way? And he said, yeah, use your best judgment. I think.
Did they meet in Clayton?
And Kim said, this is in Milwaukee. And Kim said, for the love of God, do not make any jokes about the fact they were both married.
I like that your wife, similar to mine, has to kind of counsel you through what you can say.
And I'm like, well, he kind of wants to be loose and fun. She said, nobody wants to remember their marriage because you've had a couple of good cracks on them. Like, hey, we're here to celebrate a sacred matrimony. And like, bar's open. Okay. Something like that. But then we'll be in the Lake Geneva area next week. So
God bless.
I'll be podcasting like the Dickens. But, of course, my trip will begin with Movie Boy.
You won't podcast at all, will you? You won't listen to this show?
I did. I really did while I was out of town last week. I
honestly,
live streamed the Kerber interview and the Grown Ups 2 talk and Jackson's passionate take on angel hair pasta.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
I mean, if there's like news when I'm out of town, I like to tap into what's being said.
Ooh.
It's like when the Cardinals acquire Aaron Judge next week, I'll probably listen live.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
That'd be a nice deal.
Well, you guys probably wouldn't. Hey, the Cardinals got Aaron Judge. You guys are talking favorite pasta. Morons.
If you did make a couple of cracks, it might sound a little like...
But, Tiki, are you coming back to football because you miss it, or are you coming back to football because you just had a big failure in broadcasting?
Same energy.
Kind of that theme.
Martin, enjoy vacation, sir.
Thank you.
God bless America. Martin Kilcoyne vacationing in the Hamptons next week. The program is called TMA. We go into the 10 o'clock hour. This is 101 ESPN and the TMASTL YouTube channel. Tim McKernan here to talk with you about aesthetic design and build. Aesthetic Design and Build's been building high-quality custom decks and outdoor living spaces now for over 30 years. Dan and his team have a showroom in Chesterfield Valley, and I went out there and they walked me through all the different types of custom work they're capable of doing. Now, that custom work includes full-on custom decks. If you want to add on a pergola, or if you deal with your home facing the west and you get hit hard with the sun in the summer, they can build a retractable screen for you to shade your covered patio. The best thing is these guys specialize in customization. They really are a design company that can think outside the box and offer unique solutions and designs for your outdoor living projects. Ready to take your outdoor space to the next level? Dan and his team at Aesthetic Design and Build have you covered. Call them at 636-532-5008 or visit them online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com and let them know I sent you their way. Doug Loverboy, 80.
Don't know the years.
I feel like I've overvalued, like thinking 83 or 84 before, so I'm going to go 82. I don't think 80's live.
Well, I wouldn't know.
But I feel like I've misjudged it before. I'm going to go 82 to get me 81 and 83.
81. Huh. You didn't doubt him, did you?
No, I didn't really. I just don't know the years myself, of course. I wasn't paying attention, I guess.
You ever think about doing show prep?
No. Yes. I don't really.
Jackson, what is this? This is in your links, and it's in the Stiefel dossier, and I have to tell you, it makes me curious, and I don't know the background.
Sure.
This was listed in segment 9.1 of the Stiefel dossier. It's called, Doug, A Look Around the Sporting World.
Oh, that's too vague.
Yeah.
What are we looking around for?
What do we got here?
So I've noticed this over the past few weeks, and now it's certainly come to a head, maybe not the right word, but phrase. I noticed there's a Twitter account out there, r-Bill Simmons podcast.
R-Bill Simmons podcast. Doug, do you listen to the r-Bill Simmons?
No, I don't.
And that's a reference to the Reddit thread of the Bill Simmons podcast. There's a Reddit thread, much like there's a lot of shows that have Reddit threads. TMA has a Reddit thread, not started or moderated by us, but people, fans, or lack thereof, chime in. And the r-Bill Simmons Reddit has now turned into an r-Bill Simmons podcast, a podcast about Bill Simmons podcast.
Really? Who's doing this podcast?
So I think, believe it's anonymous. Unless this is the case of the man behind the r-Bill Simmons podcast, a sometime troll, sometimes hype man for Bill Simmons, the Ringer founder. This is all from awfulannouncing.com. According to the host, so it's anonymous, they're saying that Bill Simmons is objectively worse. And this is being aggregated right now. Like,
Bill Simmons is objectively worse?
His show is objectively worse now. That's the headline reads, host of the I'm going to read the headline verbatim.
Okay.
Host of the r-Bill Simmons podcast explains why Simmons podcast is objectively worse now.
Like it was good, but now it's bad?
That is what...
Or it was bad, but now it's worse? Because that indicates that it was bad. But then, Doug, it begs the question, why are you listening?
Really? Again, and it's so crazy. Like, I want to say it again. Like, this is my main thing. There is a podcast about a podcast. And
done by an anonymous person?
Yes.
So therefore, if he's anonymous, is there like revenue?
I don't know on that. I don't
who's
know.
selling it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I realize I'm crowdsourcing. I just caught myself crowdsourcing.
Okay. And what hot takes are we supposed to deliver based on this?
None. I find it so fascinating that there's because we've talked about Reddit threads and the parasocial relationship sometimes with things, and like the fact that there is a podcast about a sports podcast is crazy to me.
Yeah,
where they talk pretty much exclusively about said podcast.
About what he said.
Find it so fascinating.
So do we have audio on this?
No audio.
Oh. I thought we were going to play a clip. I apologize. That was a bad read.
Why would you listen to a podcast about a podcast instead of just the original podcast proper?
Very fair question.
Because in the Stiefel dossier, you say, this is the wildest aggregation I've ever seen. The moderator for the Bill Simmons Reddit page started a podcast about Bill's podcast, and Awful Announcing aggregated it. The inmates are running the asylum. That's what Jackson Burkett, host of Movie Boy podcast, and I've already started a Reddit on that, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Now, I know it hasn't come out yet, but that's not important, and I'll tell you why. You'll have to listen to my podcast.
Yeah. Now, based on the Twitter account, r-Bill Simmons podcast, it's a real love-hate kind of thing. It's poking fun. I wouldn't say it's similar to like the text line on TMA, where everything's rooted in love. And, well, not everything.
Right?
Not everything. Some things are rooted in love, some of the shots. But I just find the basis for me putting it in there is just I find it fascinating that there's a podcast about a podcast.
Jackie Papers making a pointless point yet again. That's from your mom's lesbian lover.
That's fair, actually. Sometimes things don't have to have a point.
But what piqued my curiosity when I looked at the Stiefel dossier was this is the wildest aggregation I've ever seen.
Right. Just like the idea that like it was like that the headline I read is like.
But when I see host of the podcast explains why Simmons' show is objectively worse, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear the audio.
No, I apologize. I should have had something for this. I have a quote that's listed on this Awful Announcing article. Additionally, I think Bill has regressed as a host. He doesn't prepare as much. He interrupts guests instead of listening and asking questions. And the podcast is usually more about him than his guests, which I don't think was the case at the start, and which I believe developed as Bill became more famous and successful.
Now, Chairman Kurt is sitting at the dais with us, but yet, Doug, somehow he's still in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, and he just posted, I already own the intellectual property of Movie Men, a podcast about Movie Boy.
Hey, listen, all press is good press.
When I heard that come out this morning, I knew I had to pounce.
You acquired that.
Yeah.
Right. It's called Movie Men, and that's a podcast about Jackson's new podcast, which debuts on the TMASTL podcast feed tomorrow. And the podcast, Doug, is titled
Stop all this podcasting.
I just wish somewhere in this awful announcing article, they just were like, I know it's really odd that there's a podcast about a podcast, but you know what? It's a podcast. So it's like, if you want to listen to it. I'm not going to judge too harshly.
Collier and Thompson could build you a new podcast room in your home.
Ain't that the truth?
They do everything else. They do bathrooms and bedrooms, and they can redo your basement. Anywhere in your home that needs upgrading, Collier and Thompson is right there for you. You know, it's hard to know who to trust to be in your home and who's going to be there to back up their work. Collier and Thompson stands behind every job that they do, and during the process, they are always available for you. If you need to make any changes, you don't like something, they'll fix it. The Collier and Thompson team cares about the work they produce. For them, it's more than just a job. They take great pride in all of the work that they do. They've been in business since the 1950s. Bob Strati and Carolyn Beard are the owners there. Their team has more than 165 years of combined experience. They just do it right. They won't be the cheapest. They will be the absolute best in town. They've got all kinds of 5-star reviews on their website. Here's one from Michael S. Everyone was very professional and did excellent work. We will definitely use this company again when we remodel the kitchen. Oh, let's hear from Kim S. Hello, Kimmy. Jim says, Jim listened and gave us good recommendations. Mike, the project manager, always available for questions regarding installation. Both Jim and Mike work with the insurance company when estimates by the adjuster were just too low. People that have had their homes redone by Collier and Thompson, they just love the work that they have done for them, and you will too. Collier and Thompson is on Manchester and Baldwin, next to Uncle Bill's Pancake House. Come home to quality online at collierandthompson.com.
Sharon and Clayton has decided to come for the chairman.
I saw that.
This could be awkward on the set of The Real Housewives of TMA now.
What's she saying?
Chairman Instagram has reels that is like an Instagram of this show. He reenacts discussions that went down on the show. Kind of the same podcast about a podcast. Not trying to be rude. I'm just asking, Doug, that's Sharon and Clayton.
I think an interesting point, I don't mean to step on you.
Siding with Sharon and Clayton. There really is an alliance now.
No, well, I think that is more like purely comedic. Like, it's not like analytical. In a way.
The point of those was not to be like, hey, listen to what they said on TMA today, but I'm going to say it.
Right. I always loved them.
To be fair, I mean, that's what has me in this seat right now.
That's a form of marketing.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mm-hmm. I always thought they were great.
I need to get back into those.
You still have the costumes?
My guest room, which is now a TikTok studio, the closet in there is solely for TMA costumes.
Your wardrobe. That's great.
TMA costumes.
Tim, did you ever play bounce butts in grade school? Thanks, that's Car Wash Dave.
No, what is that?
I don't know. I was thinking that maybe you guys would know.
No, I
based on the fact that it was asked, like, if it's a grade school game, bounce butts. Jackson, is that something that went on Ladue?
Kristen Massapequa, what's up, Chris?
Hold on.
Hey, Mike, I want to slap your big butt cheeks.
He said no to that too, didn't he?
Let's see. Well, you want to hear his response.
All right. There's a guy very, very important this morning with a very big comment to elevate the program. Bob in Manhattan. What's up, Bob?
I'm quote-unquote vacationing in Pensacola. The average BMI at my pool is 42. Man, I need to talk to Mark Hanna. That's from caller Buzz, realizing that maybe he needs to do a little bit better so he doesn't have to be there.
Oh, so he's doing vacation somewhere better than Pensacola? What's the BMI that you want to have?
Jackson?
Like sub 20, I think. I don't know what they consider overweight. The BMI thing is an antiquated way of determining someone's.
It's like talking about B-roll?
Fitness. Yeah, it's the B-roll of the fitness world.
Is it really?
For most adults, the optimal BMI, body mass index, falls within the range of 18.5 to 24.9. Okay. This range is generally considered a healthy weight and is associated with a lower risk of certain diseases. Underweight is below 18.5. Healthy weight is 18.5 to 24.9. Overweight is 25 to 29.9. Obesity is 30 or higher.
So 42 is concerning.
It's up there.
And if that's the average,
they're still eating.
There's people over that then.
While they're at the pool, they're still eating.
Doug, I'm going to calculate my BMI. I can calculate.
Isn't it just height
BMI
and weight?
Like.
And it spits it out for you?
Yep. I'm getting.
I'm going to go.
That's pretty simple.
I'm going to go 21.2 for you, Tim.
Doug, you want to guess my BMI?
I'll say it's the perfect BMI, Tim.
Actually, I'll go 20. 20 flat.
19.
18.9.
I am 23.9.
Okay.
And again, the healthy weight is 18.5 to 24.9.
But it seems like you could be the same height and weight as somebody, and one guy be in really good shape and one guy be in lousy shape.
Sure.
Doug, you want me to do you?
Okay.
What's your height?
6 foot.
Okay. What's your weight?
It's about 187.
187 proof. Spice 1, 1993. Yeah. Doug, Vaughn's BMI 25.4. You are overweight.
I'm overweight.
Yep. Take that.
See, that kind of makes me go, that's a little ridiculous.
Right.
See what I'm
It's
saying?
super antiquated. I mean, it's such a simple, it's just height and weight. That's not a real good, it's not very scientific.
Now, can I do you papers?
I just did mine. 6'1", 182, and came out 23.9.
Oh, we got the same BMIs.
Yeah. Isn't that cute?
That's awesome. That's good for a show.
Now, Kurt, yours is going to be high since you're.
I just put mine in, and we're not going to name it.
Let's go ahead and say it.
But I will say I am obese.
Because
so that means you're over 30?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're about 5'9".
Thank you, Doug.
How tall a gentleman are you?
5'8".
5'8", and you weigh what?
No.
What do you mean no? But you're not a guy who weighs a lot because you're fat. You're muscular. So what is it? 5'8"? It's okay to weigh more. Muscle weighs more than fat,
You're like
right?
Doug Baldwin.
220.
Muscle hamster.
5'8", 220.
I thought that was Doug Martin.
Brother.
Was it Doug Martin or Doug Baldwin?
was a receiver.
Yeah,
with the
Doug
Sea
Martin
Pigeons.
was the muscle
Gotta
hamster
do some
for the
show
Bucks.
prep here, guys. We
Okay.
got to get to a point where we're doing show prep.
Okay.
We're 21 years
You
in now.
never know what's coming up.
Who's Doug Baldwin?
Receiver.
I told you. I said at 10:23 we're going to do BMIs.
Oh.
And so be ready to talk Doug Baldwin.
So what did your BMI come out to?
It's over 30. Can we move
How far
on?
over 30? Is it 40? Should
No,
you be
I'm
in
not over
Pensacola
40
right now?
No.
Hey, guess who's from Pensacola? Doug Baldwin.
Wow.
It
See,
comes
and that's
full
why the Stiefel dossier makes sense. Because on the surface, us giving our BMIs seems candidly stupid. But yet here we are doing it. And then you go, well, Jackson goes, you're like the muscle hamster, Doug Baldwin, who, of course, was really Doug Martin. But then because this all started with Caller Buzz saying he's at a pool vacationing in Pensacola, it makes sense because Doug
Baldwin,
who is not Doug Martin, the muscle hamster, is from Pensacola.
Gotcha.
And see, so people who say this show is sophomoric and doesn't really have a point, how do you answer this segment?
It's beautiful when ADHD kind of comes together.
Yeah, and you can leverage it.
Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. We will celebrate Hao Tung Lee being 9 under par in the leader at the Open coming up with Patrick Harrington going off on Scotty Scheffler's comments. This is TMA 101 ESPN.
There's firecrackers shooting in the sky, a bottle rockets on the 4th of July. Roman candle wars in my backyard. Run for me and you won't get too far. Sparklers, screamers, and streamers. Cherry bombs, smoke bombs with your moms. Kids playing with the poppers in the street. Burning them snakes all over the concrete. It's our 4th of July, so let's celebrate. Get your friends and family now, don't you be late.
Is he hurt?
It's a celebration tonight. Yeah. July is hot and so are your fireworks before you can shoot them.
Doug, July is hot and so are your fireworks, and you're right about that. Design Air is the sponsor of our email of the day, and that's where you're going to want to go if you run into any issues. It's going to be hotter than the fires of hell around here over the next week. Design Air Heating and Cooling, you know anything about it?
Well, sure. When it comes to heating and cooling, you got to trust the name that's been around longer than all of us, and that would be Design Air Heating and Cooling. You're wondering how long they've been around. Well, let me tell you, 1904. Wow. More than a century of keeping homes comfortable and customers happy. And they're not just another HVAC company. They happen to be the longest-running sponsor on TMA, and that loyalty says a lot to us. Thank you to Seth Goldcamp and his fabulous team at Design Air. They believe in honest work. You'll never be sold something you don't need, whether you're dealing with the St. Louis heat or the cold. They have got your back with dependable service and no-pressure solutions. Visit designairservice.com. Schedule your service today. Design Air, comfort you can count on since 1904, and ask for the handsome repairman, Larry, the Silver Fox.
And he is the cutest one?
Apparently so. That's the word we're getting.
Lexi is not happy with this choice, Jackson, according to the texter.
Yeah, you know, you can't win every single time you go out there.
No.
And what I would say to that, and someone actually just put it in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, is like when I play a song like that Rihanna song, that can't go on YouTube. You know, that can't. That'd be copyright issues there. So I have to take it out so that it doesn't play on YouTube. A song like that, I can play on YouTube.
Sure you can.
So, you know, I'm trying to appease all of our listeners.
All right.
So to her, what was her name?
Lexi.
Lexi. Apologies. But, you know, just trying to make everyone happy.
What would Lexi like to hear coming back for our final segment with Design Air Heating and Cooling? It's a Lexi's call. That's how we continue to win over 20-something females who love this show.
I still think we need our own orchestra.
I was thinking about that when we were playing that Open Championship.
Tonight Show has it. These big shows have their own orchestra.
I think we do a live show at the Fox and have the orchestra down in the pit.
Or can't we just bring in a cellist here or something?
Well, there was a show where Tim was out where I think we had a live studio band coming through from the KC studio.
From a different studio.
It sounded like a stampede.
Mm-hmm. And we had some guitarists in here at one
Jig
point.
Jam.
Yeah.
My friends Martin brought them in from Ireland.
Maybe we get someone with a squeeze box.
Oh, an accordion?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you saw an accordion being played? I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I don't know, actually.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Underrated instrument, though.
Agreed.
Very versatile.
Any Beyonce is her answer, Jackson.
No problem. Say less.
Coordinating
Say
with Lexi, so we'll figure out which Queen Bee beat. Does Bonnie and Clyde count? Because is that a Hove song or is that a Beyonce song?
If she's on it, we'll count it.
Okay.
If she's on it, we'll count it.
All right. That was 2003, Hove and Bee. Am I right on that, Doug? 2003?
Oh, I don't know the years.
When did they get married?
Hove and Bee. Never apologize, Jackson. It's a sign of weakness. That's from I Hate Paper Straws.
I couldn't disagree with that more.
I think that's kind of become a recent phenomenon, though.
Is not ever apologizing?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't disagree more with it being a sign of weakness. I think it's a sign of...
Do you think it was started by Norman Dale in Hoosiers when he says, I apologize for nothing?
That's where I first
And then he got
learned
to
it.
keep his job, and I guess Jimmy Chitwood was inspired by that. And then he walked in and said, I'll play, but Coach stays.
Yeah. Again, I have some questions about Jimmy Chitwood as a teammate.
Oh, brother.
That's a take. Get that out on Twitter today.
He's got the conditions, and he certainly isn't talkative on the court. Hey, Jimmy, are you going to pass or something? Although, in fairness, he didn't take the last shot. No, he
did take.
He did. What am I talking about? It was supposed to be something.
What are we doing here?
I don't know.
I get confused with the
You're
picket
all
fence.
over Chitwood, and he came through in the end.
He did, but again, I just
beat South Bend.
I just have some questions about him as a teammate. I apologize. Everyone makes mistakes.
Why was the coach of South Bend laughing when they lost? I have a problem with that. You ever think about that?
I haven't thought a whole lot about it, no. Maybe you can discuss that on your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, movie boy.
Yeah. Ooh, the anniversary is coming up next year. Prime opportunity. It was 86, right? I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, coming up.
So you'll be able to discuss why the head coach of South Bend was laughing when his team lost on a buzzer beater?
We could spend 5-6 minutes on that.
I mean, if Dennis Gates was losing during the Drake loss, I think we'd probably have a take.
Yeah. Oh, my God. If he was chuckling, cheesing, yeah, I have a real problem with that.
I bet Lexi hits her 7-iron further than 145. That's from Mr. Siders.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Trust me, every time I go to the tee box on a par 3, it's absolutely checking my pride at the cart. It stinks. You have to tell me twice.
Doug, listener's not happy with the BMI conversation. He says, let's see, hold on a second. I know no one wants to be fat, but you rather be short or bald. Well, as somebody who's enjoying both.
I'd rather be short than fat.
Bald, or fat.
I'm on pace for a clean sweep.
You can get the trifecta?
I might, if I work hard enough, I think I can get there.
I think the one that is least impactful in 2025 is bald.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
If you asked my betrothed, Doug, celebrating 17 years of loving.
Okay.
If you asked my betrothed if I could have her or if I could be 6'2", I mean, she's taking 6'2" all day long.
Right.
Right. And I think most ladies, and Lexi might be able to answer this through the guy who's requesting Beyonce songs via the text inbox, that height, if given a choice by a lass, is more desirable than hair. Now, probably the answer would be, well, we'd like both of them, and I understand that. But, Doug, we're in the Great Plains, and finding both of those at certain ages, along with the BMI that is desirable, that's about a 70-foot putt.
Just because we do a lot of farming on the Great Plains?
That's correct. Processed foods, too.
Okay.
Yeah, the being short, I mean, you can't control it, but I think you'd rather be bald than short or fat.
Yeah, like look at Johnny Sins.
Prime example. I think Jason Statham's pretty short, but obviously handsome.
And nobody really cares. The rest of the world could care less if someone's bald. Nobody cares.
Yeah. We talked, what was it, a couple weeks ago about hat fishing, always wearing a hat.
Yeah.
And then revealing.
I'm one of the champion hat fishermen.
Where, if you always wear a hat.
So this is something, for the record, for those not familiar with the term, ladies who are fearful of what lurks under the hat fishing. Mm-hmm. So a guy might look good with a hat on, but then he takes the hat off, and the next thing you know, it's male pattern baldness along with a concave skull.
Is it similar to the neck beard where you're trying to hide the fact you have no chin or something?
You mean the strategic beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackson's in the tank on this one, I can tell. It's like he thinks he's ahead, but it's pocket eights, and he doesn't know if he wants to risk his stack here.
I'm kind of tuning up a strategic beard myself at the moment.
Oh, is that right? You're going strategic beard?
Well, the way it's kind of shaped, if you can see it, you have to look closely, is kind of in the strategic territory. I don't know about you. Obviously, I'm a little follically challenged, not too bad, and holding serve at the moment. But I get frustrated when I see someone with awesome hair wearing a hat all the time. And that is a shot at you, executive producer Mike Ryder, with his incredible head of hair and always wearing a hat.
I'm jealous.
It's like having a Lamborghini and just leaving it in the garage all the time.
Absolutely.
Huh. But I think the strategic beard and the hat fishing are both kind of male makeup.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good. I like that term.
A guy who plays Rihanna coming back from breaks has definitely taken into consideration being pegged. Doug, that's from Winning Tackle.
You can take all the shots you want. I love Rihanna.
This show is ass!
Oh.
That's from Doug's cranky disposition.
Oh, promos left and right.
Unless you have money, women don't want anything to do with you if you're under 6 feet tall. Doug, that's from the 314.
It's kind of the great equalizer, isn't it?
Money? Yeah. Money equalizes a lot.
Yeah.
That's when I go back into the dating filters, and Chairman Kurt got hit with this.
Oh, the height filter
But
thing?
I have to tell you, when you tell the anecdote.
So, matched with a girl on Bumble. They have to make the first move. She did. Spoke for couple days, good vibe. Everything was going really well.
Well, sure it was.
And then in conversation, the topic of sand volleyball came up, and I said, you know, I used to play. Wasn't bad for a shorter guy.
Sure.
How tall are you? I lied and said 5'9".
Well, that's not much of a lie.
But then she also said, I don't talk. I think she said, I don't talk to people that are my height or shorter, meaning that I wasn't quite tall enough for that ride.
But I got to tell you, see, I respect that. I really do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm not into? The feelings business. and I'm just like, okay, we saved each other some time. As opposed to like lying to you and saying, oh, I can't make it, and then you follow up, and then she goes, yeah, I think that's worse. It's like, okay, I understand. This is my preference.
Or it doesn't come up. We meet up for some sort of date, and then I get out there, and she's in an uncomfortable spot. Maybe she has to tell me that in person, which might sting a little bit, and I'll have to waddle my little short self out of the restaurant.
It can be a little hurtful to tell somebody you're not good enough for something that you have no control over.
Sure.
But it's also, it's blunt, but it's honest.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
maybe you could find a softer way of saying that.
Sure. Yeah, I'm probably with you there.
You know what? I'm a little bit taller, and I just don't know that we would necessarily work so well together.
That might be better.
No.
Yeah. It's always going to hurt, but, you know.
Doug, when does gray hair come into the conversation? That's from Dick Whitman.
Well, it varies person to person.
I think that's
I think he's asking not necessarily like when it comes in, because my girlfriend at the time, back when I was a Little Rock, found some gray hair shooting out back when I was 22 or 23. But I think like if women are not attracted to what you're talking about, the handsome repairman, the silver fox.
Yeah, Larry.
For design hair.
I think in general, women would have to reach a certain age themselves before they would find the gray hair attractive.
I have a little bit in both the face and on the head. And in my recent dating experience, the women in the age group that I have been speaking with, they like it.
Do they?
Is that right? Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They like the salt and pepper look.
Like what age range are you talking with on these dating apps, Chairman?
I think the youngest has been like 27.
Look at this effing
Daddy
guy,
issues.
The Quick Trip girl's 27.
Oh.
Who's the Quick Trip girl? Is this something that was discussed
you didn't
while
hear
I was
this? Oh, yeah,
in the
this
Hamptons?
is quite a thing.
I was at Quick Trip at 3 a.m. last week.
Oh, my goodness. That's like Harry's in 2005.
And I stepped out, and there was a girl parked in a parking spot right in front of the opening doors, and she was blasting some R&B music, and that's my favorite genre.
Nice.
So I was kind of feeling it, bobbing my head a little bit, and I get in the car, and she's looking over singing at me. So I started playing into it, and I was singing back at her. She throws
Sounds
up
like a movie. It's like a rom-com.
She throws up the little heart with her hands.
No way.
So I did it back. That's out of character for me, but I was playing into it.
But at some point you drove away.
I drove away. I got about 10 seconds down Gravway and thought, what are you doing? So I turned
Gravway Quick Trip, too. That's the Huntley of Quick Trips.
So I turn around and I drive back, and I park right next to her, and she's singing at me, and I'm doing it back, and got out of my car, went up, started a conversation, said, you should let me call you sometime, got the number, and
now they're dating.
Are you serious?
We've seen each other twice.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was just randomly sitting at a Quick Trip in Afton at 3 a.m?
Yeah. There was some that may have thought she may have been like a lady of the night.
Well, if they're easy to meet at 3 a.m. in the parking lot of QT, it's kind of logical to come up with that conclusion.
But my love for 90s R&B kind of was my in there.
Was it?
But yeah, 27, but we were talking about ages. 27 to like 38 have been my range, and most of them have liked the salt and pepper.
Ken Iggy Strode, Doug, who has worked on this program for a number of years, is in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat and says, wow, I'll take things that didn't happen for 500, Alex.
I have a picture to prove it, Iggy.
How about that?
Because she grabbed my phone, she put her name and number in there, and then she took a selfie of us to put as the contact photo.
My goodness, this is like a romantic comedy.
I was telling Jackson about it last week, and he's like, man,
was this talked about on the air? I apologize if this was...
No, we didn't get into this. But it is, if things work out, it's a nice little meet cute. And it was very out of character for me. So
nice little what? Meet cute?
Meet cute.
Never heard that phrase before.
Like your first meeting,
A meet cute.
Yeah, like when someone says, how did you meet? And there's like meet cute moments, like you both drop, your cell phones while waiting in line for the airplane, and you reach for it and grab each other's cell phones, and now it's a meet cute.
So not everyone has a meet cute.
No. No, so like if you were set up, I wouldn't call that a meet cute.
Or I had been on the apps a lot, and that's fine. It works great for a lot of people.
Also not a meet
Not
cute.
necessarily a meet cute, but singing Keith Sweat's Nobody in the Quick Trip parking lot at 3 in the morning, kind of a meet cute. Yeah.
Okay.
And Dave and Mo Fallon in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat wants to know how tall she is. She's slightly taller than me.
No.
How about that? And how old is she again?
27.
This is unbelievable.
I still can't believe it.
Does she know that you're on this program?
I don't know that she knows I'm on this program. She knows I'm on a program.
Right.
Haven't really gotten too specific about it, but
So you could be like the host of Quiet Storm for all she knows. All right, so be honest with me.
Yeah.
St. Louis 1 to 10 scale. What do we got going on?
I don't know what this girl is doing talking to me. I'm going to say she's an 8.
Man, since she's hanging out the Quick Trip in Afton and starts making heart gestures at you while singing R&B,
And what are you? Where's your rating? You're, a St. Louis, 8 yourself?
No. Charlie Marlowe's what?
A 9.
9. He says he's a 9.
At this current BMI, I'm probably like a 6.5.
Oh, you are?
Okay, so then there you go. That's not bad. Being 1.5 off.
And I think I have room to grow.
You still have a growth spurt in you?
Maybe I have room to shrink might be a better way to put it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I have potential for a St. Louis 8. I think I can get on her level.
You're a catch, Chairman.
Okay.
Oh, thanks,
Get
buddy.
this Jackson.
That's just exciting. To have
I know.
nice
This is a hell of a story.
Yeah. I'm
enjoy the hell out of this
interested to see what happens with it.
You got anything planned?
Hung out with her last evening.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and she was going out of town today, so, nothing on the books for the weekend, but I'll be excited to hang with her again when she gets back.
Huh.
Man.
Okay.
Did you ever say, hey, what were you doing in the Quick Trip parking lot at 3 in the morning?
There was a little bit of talk about that. She wasn't super specific about it, and I didn't want to pry and seem like I was questioning what she,
There wasn't a real simple, logical explanation.
No.
Because your explanation's pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
that's
going to the
part of
gym.
my daily routine.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know for sure what she was doing singing to random men that walked out of Quick Trip at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Maybe she was waiting for the fresh donuts,
Yeah.
Could be.
Just parked outside QT, waiting for the fresh donuts to arrive.
Yeah. Yeah. He just doesn't want the ones that have been sitting there since 8 p.m. the night before.
This crap doesn't happen in real life. That's from the 314.
I honestly, if I heard somebody saying this, I would be skeptical too. But I promise you, I'm not a story facilitator or a manufacturer. This all happened, and I'm as surprised by it as
And the reason
anyone
you
else.
were there at 3 in the morning is you were on your way to the gym.
I was.
Could she have been doing the same thing?
I don't believe she was. She does exercise, but I don't think she was on her way to or from the gym.
Why, okay.
But the adrenaline that was going through me after I did that, Doug, better than any pre-workout I've ever taken. I set a deadlift PR the first day I was 40 years old after that happened.
Really?
That. I feel like we buried the lead.
Huh.
Good on you, Chairman.
Yeah, I mean, for the reals, though.
I'm rooting for you, too.
Me too.
Look at this. I'm really intrigued by this. Tip of the cap. Iggy says, I'm sure that he has pictures with girls. That doesn't mean it's from his story.
I'll see how you can hate from outside the club. You can't even get in.
Oh, damn. Took him out at the knees.
My God.
Oh,
that's good.
God almighty.
This is what happens when the Cardinals can't hit.
Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Design Air Heating and Cooling is coming. Email the day is coming up next. And get your teeth checked, and maybe you can meet a beautiful woman at the QT in Afton, too, Doug. You go to 100 West Dental with Dr. Brandon Pryor. You're going to have to leave the QT in Afton and go to Baldwin, Manchester. And that's where you'll find Dr. Brandon Pryor and the beautiful teeth. They built brand new offices with the most modern of technology with a patient experience at the front of the mind. No phone call is needed to get in. Just check the calendar online for availability and you book right then and there. It's 100westdental.com. No dental insurance. That's not a problem. The membership plan aids in the cost of dental work for those who don't have dental insurance. It's 100 West Dental, located on Manchester in Baldwin. And I realize people say, I don't really want to go to the dentist, but bad dental health can lead to bad medical health. That is important. And people think, I think, because dental insurance is separate from medical insurance, that the two are not intertwined. But of course they are. Make sure your teeth are healthy. It is a wise, wise move to go to 100westdental.com. And if you mention my name, you get $1,000 off Invisalign at 100 West Dental. Check them out. It's Dr. Brandon Pryor and 100 West Dental, 100westdental.com. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day is next. This is TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen.
This is Jackson with the Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The return of Dame Time to Rip City. 9-time NBA All-Star Damian Lillard has agreed to a 3-year, $42 million contract to return to the Portland Trailblazers, sources tell ESPN yesterday. That was their Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. CinemaLondoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
This is a long-distance dedication to you, Lexi. Thanks for listening to HD1, girl. Doug, Queen Bee.
Okay. I could really dance to this song.
Right now?
If you do that by yourself down at Tin Roof? Is that the deal?
Not at Tin Roof per se, but I would dance by myself to this one.
You would?
Yeah, I could.
You look right in the mirror and say, hey.
Like I'm honestly fighting the urge to cut a rug right now.
Okay. I would love to see that going on in the YouTube chat, because right now Iggy and Chairman Kurt are arguing in there.
I'll just do it while you guys are doing that.
So you might as well go to youtube.com/TMASTL, because you'll see Jackson dancing to Queen Bee, which is a long-distance dedication to Lexi, a new listener. And Iggy and Chairman Kurt are arguing over, I'm not sure what you're arguing over, but I just see, congrats, I don't want your numbers. That was like Mox saying to his father, I don't want your life? Or did he say that to John Vaughn?
I don't know.
That was Varsity Blues. Allie Larder, she made a Sunday of herself. Am I right? Is anybody looking at this?
All of that is correct.
Thank you. Whew, man, this is a good show.
She made a Sunday of herself?
Yeah.
Like a Sunday?
Yeah, like a
Don't
Sunday.
say Sunday.
You like a Sunday?
No, I don't like to say that word. Sunday.
I don't like to chop nuts.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Huh.
Producer Joe was allergic to tree nuts.
Think about that.
And he didn't eat green things? Was that his
That's
rule?
correct. Or date women who went out with professional athletes.
Well, you don't eat green things.
Man
That,
of
that
principles.
crosses off a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you're really taking yourself out of a lot of foods.
Never a salad or...
Like, even like a burger with lettuce, that's no good. You can't
You know what I
do that.
realized I liked that I didn't know for the first 40 years of my life? Radish.
Radish.
Well, that's a take.
It didn't come up much.
I wish it would have come up earlier in the show because we could have spent more time on it. Unfortunately, now it's time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling Email of the Day. From the mind of Jackson Burkett. Yes, that Jackson Burkett. From the morning after, Balloon Party, the Tim McKernan Show, the Spread Zone, and anything else Tim lets him come on.
Nice.
Comes a new podcast nobody asked for, Movie Boy. Welcome to Movie Boy, a podcast where I talk for an hour and a half about films you've never seen and will never see. Tune in tomorrow for episode 1 to deep dive into Ashes of a Discarded Yogurt Spoon, a 1982 Bulgarian film banned for being too beige. Doug, can films be banned for being too beige?
Some of those westerns are really beige.
I wept twice. My favorite film, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? My least favorite, anything involving a cape, a multiverse, or someone named Stark. I grew up in Ladue, but I earned my taste in film working at Ronnie's, where I once called Paul Blart a cultural tragedy. And got written up for refusing to serve nacho cheese to anyone who couldn't define Mise-en-scene.
I don't even know what that is.
This isn't your average movie podcast. I won't be ranking Batman. I'll be ranking 1940s Latvian lighting techniques.
The first episode's F1. It's like the most expensive movie ever made. This is the definition of a blockbuster.
So if you like Wes Anderson, despise Joy. And think the Criterion Channel should be a religion. Welcome. I'm Jackson Burkett, and I am the Movie Boy. And now you know the rest of the story. Doug, that's Paul Harvey, Milk Mustache.
Paul Harvey, Milk Mustache. Okay.
Movie Boy. Congrats to you, Jackson. If you need guest appearances, I'd be happy to join the pod, as I was a family video manager from 2006 to 2011. Sure. I would like to submit my list of favorite movies to review with you. Rounders, Saving Private Ryan, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Zombieland, Caddyshack, Lucky Number 11, Green Street Hooligans, and of course, Uptown Saturday Night. And I'm not a fan of Notting Hill, but I'm just a boy standing in front of a boy asking him to love me. Doug, that's from Flip Wilson.
Is it?
I love Notting Hill.
Flip Wilson.
You love Notting Hill?
Yeah, it's tough because, like, the idea that Hugh Grant, might be the most handsome man ever on film, wouldn't be able to, like, it's so crazy he'd be with Julia Roberts. That's nonsense.
But then that goes back to the cash conversation, and Julia Roberts there was doing fine financial, and he was always a
travel
bookstore owner in Notting Hill. You ever been to Notting Hill over there in London?
Not just a bookstore, a travel bookstore. No novels.
I don't get there as often as I should.
After today's show, I think we were all thinking the same thing, that the Cardinals wouldn't be having those attendance issues if they had painted the stadium in pastel colors and dropped in a few inflatable palm trees. It would really pop. I know there is no way to find out how many times the U.S. landed on the moon, but do you know why the program stopped at 6? NASA doesn't want to change from a number that Tim likes.
Nice.
Isn't that the real conspiracy? It represents the back-to-back threes he hit over the Kachuk boys in the 1999 St. Gabe's 7th grade tournament. So the government threw away the code used to get through the radiation belt. Shooter McGavin, Vice President of River to Pear Seafood, now serving charred octopus. Visit our new kiosk at Northwest Plaza.
Ooh. Shooter McGavin.
Question of the day for the first episode of Movie Boy. This is Jackson's new podcast, which debuts tomorrow. If Barbenheimer taught us that cinematic duality can coexist in a post-ironic landscape, one defined equally by virality and vaporware feminism, then my question is this. Because when Cillian Murphy stares blankly into the horizon, is he mourning the death of agency or just thinking about how many Letterboxd reviews use the word visceral? In that vein, if you had to spend 90 interrupted minutes listening to Movie Boy describe the liminality of grief in Manchester by the Sea, but each minute removes one memory of your children, at what point do you tap out? Doug, that comes from Mr. Licks on the new podcast Movie Boy.
Mr. Licks on the new podcast Movie Boy.
Yeah, I don't know where this email goes, as I found your address hanging from a flyer in a QT bathroom offering free movie and life advice. While I was washing my face trying to get rid of the stench of Napoli of me in the bathroom, I decided even a St. Louis 8 needs help sometimes. I'll cut to the chase. I met what I can describe as a man of my dreams, a George Costanza lookalike outside said station. It was like kismet. I've been fluttering like a butterfly for almost 2 weeks now. How do I push this to the next level? What is a healthy BMI for the STL? Anywho, thanks for your time, and let me know where I can hear this response. Toodles, that's from the Heiser House Hooligan.
Heiser House Hooligan.
And finally, there's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life. And then you get there and all of a sudden you get to be Lister of the Month and it's like, what's the point? Why do I want to win this Shishawala email competition so badly? I don't know. If I win a month, it's going to be awesome for like 2 months. And then we're going to get to the next month and it'll be like, you've won 2 months this year. How important is it to win Emailer of the Year? What's the point? That's something I wrestle with on a daily basis. Just kidding. I've been too pressed for time to email in lately. Plus, we've had the same new emailers emerge, and I want to give them room to cook, even if they are the same person. I know a lot about geriatric blind listers from the taint of Jefferson County who call in to request the email of the day address. Not once, not twice, but thrice. And it's great. How's Pastis from Festus? We going to bring that back? How about that whole deal? Has Pastis still not emailed in, or is he being filtered by Chairman Kurt, a la Marlin's Family Barbecue, who felt the need to confess to Tim how nervous he was heading into the final email of June, only for his email to get filtered for being terrible? Or is Pastis emailing in as a different name like Paul Harvey Milk Mustache or Doug's Oil Boy? Okay, got to go now. I'm going to catch a Friday matinee presentation of Grown Ups 2. Doug, meet me outside Kenrick 8 Cine at 12:01, and we can sit together. That's from Buck Swope, DBA, The Recess Lady's Breast.
I knew it was going to be Buck Swope. Little lengthy.
That's what we have to design, air, heating, and cooling.
I like the leadoff hitter, Paul Harvey Milk Mustache.
Yeah, I thought the best one was first today, Milk Mustache.
It was scathing and inaccurate, but Milk Mustache is the best.
Congratulations to Paul Harvey's Milk Mustache. You have won the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. And Doug, we are experiencing an incredible race for the emailer of the month this month. Shooter McGavin, Paul Harvey's Milk Mustache, Joey Vitale, Lemming, and Dalton are all near the top or at the top of the leaderboard, and Buck Swope is lurking along with Alan Dadeville and the Salty Bald Dad. It's fun to watch a diversified competition.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Right, BK and Ferrario coming up next. Martin Kilcoyne vacationing next week in the Hamptons. We will be back Monday morning at 7 a.m. Time for us to shut it down. For Jackson Burkett, for Chairman Kurt, for Martin Kilcoyne, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Elvin, Vaughn, and Tim McKernan, this has been TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMASTL YouTube channel.